And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to Fresh&Fit Podcast, aka Fresh&Fit News. We're going to be covering a lot of things today. World War III, the markets tumbling, UK riots. Let's get into it, guys.
Let's go!
And we are live. What's up, guys? Welcome to the Fresh&Fit Podcast, man, aka it's Fresh&Fit News. As you guys know, it's Monday night. I'm excited for this one. We got a lot of topics to talk about. We're going to be covering World War III, the UK riots, Venezuela, the controversy going on at the Olympics with the boxer, the Algerian boxer, and what gender she may or may not be. A lot of things that we got. And I got a special guest in the back, actually, which I'm going to reveal to you guys here in a second. But before I get into that, guys, ffpod.org, okay? The Yacht party is going to be this Saturday, August 10th, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. We got pictures of the yacht, actually, which if we could bring those up here, Bill's ready to go here in a second. It's going to be crazy, guys. It's only $9.98 to jump on the yacht. We have holds 350 to 380 people, 130 foot plus. It's going to be huge. We have a VIP. Well, VIP sections are sold out. My bad. But yeah, general admission, guys, is only $9.98, man. Open bar, free food, etc. It's going to be litty, guys. Make sure to come and join us here. I got some photos here that we're going to put up on screen in a second. Can they see it?
Yeah, they can see it.
Okay, guys, that right there is the yacht. It's huge. It's brand new. It's going to be a good time, guys. All right, so that's going to be August 10th, again, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Get your tickets now, all right, guys, because the party's going to be lit. We're going to be streaming IRL as well. Bills are going to be there, me. We'll see if we get some other influencers to show up. And we're going to have a bunch of girls. We're going to have easily 150 to 200 girls. We have about 100 spots or so for the guys. So it's going to be a good time, guys. Make sure to join in, man. ffpod.org. Get your tickets now while you guys can. And yeah, hope to see you guys there. Okay, with that said, rumble.com/freshfit, as you guys know, that is the home base for us. And if we ever get canceled, you know exactly where to find us. Also, castclub.tv, guys, we're going to be doing a Zoom call with Chris Crone tomorrow at 3 p.m. Again, for Cast Club members, we're going to be doing a Zoom call with Chris Crone, billionaire real estate investor, okay? Tomorrow at 3 p.m. we're going to be going over real estate, how to make millions doing it, how to go ahead and get real estate, whether you have low to no money, bad credit scores, whatever it may be. We're going to go ahead and teach you guys how to get real estate and build some goddamn wealth and stop being a brokey. So that's going to be 3 p.m. tomorrow, Couch Club. And then also, I'll probably be going on InfoWars at about 5 p.m. tomorrow with Owen Schroyer. So that's going to be a good time. Tune into InfoWars tomorrow at 5 p.m. Yeah, I think that's most of the announcements. Did I miss anything, Bills? Mo? No?
No.
Okay. Anyway, so without further ado, guys, we're going to have to switch on over to Rumble here. And I know a lot of you guys are like, what the hell? We just started the show. But I got a special guest in the house who is a geopolitical commentator that is very well-versed in warfare and strategy. And we're going to have to do it on Rumble. I got Scott Ritter in the fucking house. So we're going to go ahead and switch over to Rumble real quick. And then we're going to go ahead and start talking about World War III with Sulaiman and Scott. As you guys know, there's been rising tensions now for a while. And yeah, so we're going to go ahead and go
claimed at that time they'd intercepted 95%. Later, you know what we found out?
What?
That they'd only intercepted 5%.
Really?
Exactly. So that was then. And obviously, there's going to be improvements in their defense capability and so on and so forth.
Yeah, the Iron Dome is a lot better now.
So this time they claimed, again, that they'd intercepted 95%. Once again, we had reports that actually the reality was about 70%. Iran hit a number of military bases that actually got through, for example, Air Base and a few other air bases. Now, why that's interesting is what that showed is two things. It showed that the capability that they can get in, even with these drones and these missiles that they were sending, which was a way of testing and getting information. As he said, the real reason was to send different types of weaponry, different types of missiles to see how the American-Israeli response is going to be. So even then, they got like 30%, 35% through, right? Now, why people think it was a failure is because they didn't hear about any casualties. Because the American-Israeli mind, or the Western Israeli mind, has basically made people believe that the only time your attack is successful is when there's casualties, when you've killed people. But the Iranians, basically, what that showed is like kind of their humanity, that they didn't go for like populated areas, they went for military bases, and they actually destroyed those military bases. So if that was the case then imagine now that they're going to use a lot more potent weapons, what's going to happen? And then this time, you've basically got Hezbollah. There's no way Hezbollah is not going to join in. So Hezbollah is going to be from a much more closer range, attacking them with missiles. And then you've got the Yemeni Houthis attacking them with missiles. Yeah. It's going to be very, very, very difficult for them to basically stop that. It'll be near impossible. And so that's what, when they went for and killed Ismail Haniyeh in Iran, they've basically caused the whole axis and forced them all to respond in one go.
Yeah, to unite, yeah.
They've always been united, but what they've done is, like, Iran's kind of stayed out of it. They've let Hezbollah respond. Or they've stayed out of it, they let the Houthis respond. And if this is a coordinated response, it's going to be too much for Israel.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they could barely hold off the missiles just from Iran by itself. Can you imagine the other two now getting involved? And, you know, it's crazy and it's scary to see what's going on and where we might go. And then, obviously, you know, the United States is... Hopefully, I'm just saying, I hope we don't get dragged into this, because then now we didn't even talk about Russia getting involved or China to support Iran if America goes ahead and decides to take like an offensive. So that's wild. And another thing too, from the April attack that you mentioned, I heard reports from suppressed news on Twitter saying that around 40 IDF soldiers were actually killed. But it wasn't put out there, and the reason why he knows is because he looked at hospital records from like Tel Aviv or whatever that reported like a bunch of casualties and deaths. So we'll see. I mean, I don't think it was widely reported for obvious reasons, but you know, I think the strategy, they were able to go ahead and get what they wanted out of that attack back in April, which was to see capabilities, etc. And everyone's preparing. I mean, Shin Bet has pretty much pushed. For those that are wondering, Shin Bet is Israel's, think of them as an FBI and a Secret Service in one. They're their domestic law enforcement agency that also collects intelligence and does protection for their political leaders. So Shin Bet has bunkers, and a lot of the Israeli brass is there right now for the next couple of days. So, and then also I saw reports where pictures of parking lots being turned into hospitals. With beds and everything else like that prepared. So, I mean, something imminent is coming in the next few days.
Well, a lot of foreign nations are also saying that they've been told by Iran that a response is coming. Yeah. Now, again, this could be Iran kind of psychological warfare as well, to an extent. Yeah. But then, yeah, it does. I mean, look, it's impossible that they can't respond. If they do, everyone's going to see Iran as weak. Yeah. Everyone's going to see them as a paper tiger. It was all talk, no walk. It's impossible that they don't respond.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, to have a foreign dignitary killed in your capital when he was there on official business to see a presidential inauguration is very bad. That just looks horrible for them.
While he's one of the heads of one of your axes. Remember, we hear about this axis of resistance, so it's huge.
Yeah, that's incredibly embarrassing for them. So, they have to respond at this point. And the crazy part is that he was like he was the main negotiator. Like, what's Israel going to do now with the hostages? By eliminating him.
Yeah. They don't want the hostages. They don't care about them. Obviously, there'll be somebody else who negotiates on his behalf. But the thing is, it's kind of like a kind of psychological impression that they're given that the negotiator they killed. So if you look at it from a like metaphorical perspective or an allegorical perspective, they're basically saying that we murdered the negotiation. So that's like another way of looking at it.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I don't think they were trying to do that. But in reality,
that's the message it sends.
Yeah. They've never cared about the negotiations. They've never cared about the hostages. When Netanyahu was in Congress getting all of his applause, a hostage member's family member, I believe it was the mother, came in and they arrested her. So that shows you the level of psychology where the hostages are just, they don't care about them. They don't care about their families. This is just a game for them.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, this is wild stuff. I mean, there's no doubt that Israel obviously struck a military win by being able to eliminate these adversaries in such a short period of time and so quickly, but there's going to be consequences to it. You know, with the big win, you're going to have to be able to defend that win because you pissed off a bunch of adversarial countries. So I guess anything else before we switch on over to the UK?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. So guys, we're going to switch on over to the next story, which... enjoyed that breakdown. Obviously, we had to do a majority of it on Rumble, but you know, it was a great discussion. UK, you wanted to hit the riots?
It's up to you. So we got the riots, we got Venezuela, and we got the boxing. So the UK, your chat's gonna cry. So just what order do you want it in? At what point do you want him to cry?
You know what, man? We can. What's gonna take the longest? You think the UK, right? Probably. Yeah. So we can save that for last. Okay. Let's go ahead and hit the boxing situation with what's her name?
Imane Khelif.
Imane Khelif. Go ahead.
Okay, so I feel like I'm like literally the only person who's got this position, right? So some people supporting her because she's a Muslim. Some people support or other people are supporting her because she's the left. Right? For me, it's quite simple. So let me tell you a bit of information about her. So Imane Khelif has been boxing she's from Algeria. She's been boxing in the female division for a very long time. I believe it's the 55, but I could be wrong. I can't remember the exact amount. And she's been boxing. She's been winning some fights. She's been losing some fights, testing, and never having any kind of negative test. And then what happened is the IBA did a test, and in that test they said that she failed, and there were some anomalies with that test.
Mm-hmm.
They were claimed, so that's what they said. They didn't go into specifics about what it was, but one person who was related to them or relayed with them or linked to them said that, she failed her, basically she was a man. She had an XY chromosome.
Yeah.
Right? And then then there was a pushback on them to say, look, what was the test you did? What was the veracity of the test? Like, you need to give this information. And they were unwilling to give the information. Imane was unwilling to go forward with the appeal. Mm-hmm. So I'm giving you both sides.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
so everybody
yeah.
understands.
Sure, yeah.
Because so you had from Imane was unwilling to go for the appeal and they were basically unwilling to give that information. The IBA themselves were basically made defunct. The international boxing body no longer recognized them. They were the amateur boxing body. So they're basically not considered a legitimate boxing operation anymore. The reason for that is political, because the guy in charge of it is Russian, has links to Putin, and there's these kind of various issues. So he has links to issues. They think that they've been cheating and hiding things for Russian athletes, and then they believe that they've been attacking non-Russian athletes and claiming that these guys are basically failing tests, so just everybody understands what it is. And on the other hand, the Russians think that this is a specifically racist attack against the Russians to stop them from competing.
Interesting.
Right.
Okay.
So that's what happened with them. But they're defunct, not accepted as a boxing organization. And then the argument was, look, we don't know if she's a man, we don't know if she's a woman. Like, we need some more evidence, right? Yesterday, someone linked with the IBA, a doctor, did come out and say, look, she failed an XY test, so that means she was born a man. But again, this is not being by a verified body. So now I've given like a balanced from both sides. So they say that she is a man, XY. They say that that's not a legitimate test. IBA is a defunct organization, not defunct, but is not someone that's recognized anymore, and therefore we can't take their test. Give us the information about the type of test you did, how you did it, where you did it, what type of test you did, how you did it, and what the results were. So that's the situation. Now, what happened was in the Olympics, she fought this Italian woman from Europe, and within 45 seconds, that
Mamma mia!
Exactly. Well, white genocide. Jokes. Not yet. I'm not. Right. Okay. So
and she hit her with the
Falcon punch.
Okay. So what happened? Sorry, what did you say?
No.
Yeah. Okay. So then she
fought this Italian.
Yeah, she fought this Italian. And she quit after 45 seconds. Now this Italian has a history of quitting. Like, there's another fight in the past where she quit within 45 seconds. This time there's an uproar. Now the uproar is, and I think there's something more deeper to it, but it doesn't matter. The uproar is that a man, what they're saying is the man, why is it that he's able to basically beat a woman in women's sports? Now the question is that obviously we don't know the veracity of whether it's a man or not, but let's just assume it is a man. So anyway, on Twitter, you basically had the entire conservatives attacking her, and the liberals attacking her, feminists, and people who were pro-trans supporting her, and then generally a lot of the Muslim community was supporting her because she's a Muslim, and then the anti-Muslim community was against her because she's a Muslim as well. So there's kind of these different groups going on different sides for different reasons. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's a whole. No, you're giving a more holistic view of it. Of all the
Yeah, so that's what happened. Now, if I miss something, do jump in and on the chat and let us know, right? Now, my opinion is this, right? I support men being in women's sports, right? Where's the sound effects? Come on, Mo.
I got you.
How dare you?
So I support it with all my veracity, and I'm not even pretending. Like, I'm not even saying it in a like kind of like trolling way, because I know it will get hits, right? So I know as soon as, and you know the worst thing about it is, you know when I posted it, I knew it was gonna go viral, but I didn't expect the Muslims to basically support her. So, because I didn't even click in my head that like she's Algerian, she's Muslim, they're gonna support.
Well, there's photos that came out of her in her childhood where clearly she's a girl.
Yeah.
And from what I've seen, there's like reports that she has a rare condition where she was born a woman, but certain tests trigger an XY chromosome test. So I don't know. Again, they show these photos and stuff like that. So I don't know specifically. I mean, my stance on it is I was talking more along the well. I'll let you take your stance and I'll say what I was going to say.
Yeah. Because I know everyone will disagree with me on this, right?
Yeah, sure, go ahead.
But I'm against feminism.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm consistently against it in all aspects. And I believe that the right is extremely feminist, right? They're extremely woke when it comes to feminism.
Okay.
Right? And when you've got the LGBTQ, or let's take the T in this regard, and you've got feminists, I will support the T.
Okay.
And I'll explain to you why. Because when you look at transgender, I'm against transgender being taught in schools. I've been actually the biggest critic of it from the day, like now people woke up and start talking about it in the United States, maybe for the last so many years. I was talking about it for like a very long time, right? And I was massively against it from a logical perspective, right?
Yeah.
Because my position is left wing, but not woke liberal, right?
Okay.
So there's the change on it. So I've been vehemently against it. Because I think because young children are susceptible, their minds are not developed, and you can manipulate them into thinking anything.
Yeah,
right?
sure. Yeah.
But when you look at transgender, the vast majority, I think I said this on your show last time, the vast majority of transgender over 16 are women. So it's biological women changing to men. A very small minority.
I thought it'd be the other way around.
Yeah. But it's not. And it makes sense logically, right? Because this is literally your expertise. That women are easily controlled, women are easily manipulated, women are easily influenceable, and women are easily impressionable. So if society tells them to act in a certain way, they'll end up acting in that way. So it makes sense that if transgender ideas are being propagated and there's men or women, there's going to be more women who fall for it than men.
Okay,
right?
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So the logic matches up with the data. And the data shows that over 16-year-olds, the vast majority are biological women.
Okay.
And
Born a woman transitioning to
into
a man.
yeah.
Okay.
So biological woman, they call it trans man. Now, under 16s, and this is because now they've been teaching it in schools. This is because now they're being perpetuating it through various mediums. It's almost 6-1. It means for every 6 women, there's only 1 man.
Okay, so you're saying, so over 16, what's the percentage there?
I believe the percentage is, and they're not clear on the percentage, but from like a few different data points, you could probably say about 60%.
Okay, so roughly 60% are going from born a girl, transition to man.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're saying now, but when they're under 16 years old, children, they're going, same thing, it's 6-1 from man to woman again.
Exactly, so nearly 80-90%.
Oh, wow.
Right, okay.
That'd be the other way around, but okay.
So now you understand it, but why do you, no, but the real question is, and this is why, because I always like, this is why I feel like I think outside the box and I just think of things in a different manner, right? So why is it you thought it was the other way around?
Because I think in general, it's a bit easier probably to get through life as a female than it would be as a male in modern society.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it worse, because now, I'll tell you, because I'm going to get to this, that a guy, because by the way, my whole thesis of this is really man hatred, right? Because really, basically, a man can basically, what are we allowed to say this in the YouTube?
I mean, I use a buzzword if you need to.
A man can basically chop off his genitalia.
Okay.
And even then, he's not accepted by a woman.
Okay, I see what you mean.
And even then, he's not accepted by society.
Okay.
Right? So That's the level of man hatred this is, right? Now, coming back to the point, you basically look at the vast majority of women, but the reason you and many others, and nearly everyone, and even I thought this, but then I started thinking, wait, something's going on here. Like, I don't believe anything that happens. Is reality that if you look at social media and you look at mainstream media, they are always attacking biological men who change to women, right? And they're always attacking them. And if you look at the famous woman who did it, it's the girl from Umbrella Academy. I forgot her name. Is it something Billy? I forgot her name anyway. She was a biological woman who changed to a man. But the vast majority, Caitlyn Jenner, like all of them, everyone we know is generally speaking, Dylan Mulvaney, like there's a big campaign against Dylan. So you basically got the vast majority who, when they're basically trying to insult the transgender community, they attack a biological man who changes to a woman.
Gotcha.
Right?
So in the mainstream media,
yeah.
when you see the criticisms coming from that angle. Okay.
And they always give this idea that a man is violent, a man is a pedophile, a man wants to rape, a man wants to kill children, like do all of these things to young children or women.
Yeah.
And they always say, look at the prison population, like men rape these women. Look at the...
we'll just say grape.
Oh, sorry, grape.
No, you're fine, yeah.
Or look at the... in bathrooms, do you want a man to come in the bathroom? He's going to grape, right? So this is the psychology that they want to perpetuate. But in reality, when you look at prisons, it's women raping women more in the female prisons, right?
Interesting.
And when you look at the data, under 8-year-olds, because this is what they keep saying to you, like, these men are a danger to children. Because men, according to them, are innately a danger, right? But if you look at under 8-year-olds, women murder and abuse children more than men.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Infanticide. Pearl actually talked about this at length.
Yeah, I told her.
Yeah. Oh, you're okay.
Yeah. So, and to the extent, because I went on a show and I explained, like, I told her, because she was, So to the point where...
When it comes to the death of babies, it's the mother that kills actually significantly way more.
Not just babies, under 8-year-olds.
Yeah.
Everything under 8, right?
Yeah.
Over 8, it almost becomes similar, right?
Okay.
But under 8, it's mainly women killing, not counting abortion. You count abortion, then forget about it. The numbers are crazy.
Yeah. Abortion would make it.
Yeah.
Then every chick's a murderer.
So when they're saying to me, guess what? A child is a risk in a bathroom. They're at risk against you, women, not against men. Like, you guys are the ones who are abusing children more, and you guys are the ones who are raping children more, and you guys are the ones who are murdering children more, right? So you're going to understand my whole thesis on this, right? Now, coming back to it. So when, in reality, then it comes like, why is it that extreme feminists, liberals, are considered the representative of this issue, even to conservatives? So J.K. Rowling, if you look at conservatives, they're like, we stand with J.K. Rowling. He's our J.K. Rowling shirt. And you think, oh my God, how lame are you? Like, you're really perpetuating feminists against the trans community. And they're only attacking men. J.K. Rowling will never, and I mean ever, attack a biological woman who changes to a man. Only men, because it's feminism. You see that post, when the Imane post, I didn't end up sending it, but the Imane post, when you see it, her words are saying it. I don't like these men pretending they're women. I don't like these men doing this. It's all these men are basically doing attack on men, right? And for me, holistically, not just that now. So now we've got that. Feminism is the biggest problem in society compared to any other problem. LGBTQ is nothing compared to feminism, because feminism causes the destruction of the family, causes the destruction of society, causes population collapse, causes behavior where men are unable to get women. That causes psychological problems, that causes destruction in society. For me, feminism is such a big problem that it tells you that would I align with a feminist or would I align with a trans? Definitely not with a feminist. And if I look at the major problem, it's the feminists who are causing the problems. Sorry.
No, I'll let you finish your thought, then I'll come
So that's the holistic thing. So I don't think women should be in sports at all. And again, data shows that you guys are sending your women to sports. You know, the vast majority of women, especially in team sports, are basically lesbian. So if you look at the Olympics, men to women, I believe the ratio was 17-1. If you look at the American football team, it was a very, very high percentage. Every single female sport, especially team sports, women turn gay, right? So what you're basically saying is this, because I said to them, and they were like, you ain't gonna stop us Americans from getting our women to play sports. And I was like, bruv, you're basically telling me that you want your women to play sports, and then you want them to turn gay, and then you want them to not have children, and then cause the very thing that you're complaining about. You're complaining about white genocide. This is white suicide. You're basically causing that, because it's basically they're not having children, right? That is white suicide, not white genocide. So that's what in reality you're causing. So when you look at all of these things, my point is this. You want equality. You want equality in the workplace. You want equality in pay. Even when you don't earn it, you want equality. You look at football, they're saying women should get paid the same as men. Ain't nobody watching women play sports, right? Nobody. The only time people are watching women play sports is when you force them because you play Wimbledon. Men, and then we'll put the women with it, and over time people will get used to women's sports and they might watch it, but really they want to watch the men. Same with like every other sport, Olympics, all these type of stuff. Nobody's going to watch it. Actually, most female sports are loss making, right? And so you have to, like the WNBA is loss making as an example, right? Even though Americans love it so much, they pump WNBA up so much throughout the world, it's loss making. So nobody's watching it.
It's not profit. It's never been profitable.
It's never been profitable. Nobody's interested in it. So in reality, I say, if you want equality in all aspects of life, and you want Serena Williams to be paid the same as Djokovic, even though Djokovic has played 5 sets and Serena Williams may play 3 sets, and nobody's watching her and everybody wants to watch Djokovic, then have equality in all sports. So men and women play in the same sports together. Let the men dominate, because guess what? Gender is a social... That's another thing. Gender is a social construct. Is from feminism as well. So gender is a social construct. So let's do it. Let's be about it. Let men dominate sports. I'm all for men's rights.
I'll give you a dollar marker for that. That's funny. And just for some of you guys, that so your stance is, right, and make sure I want to make sure I have this correct, is that you think there should be one standard, no separate leagues, nothing. If you want the equality that you actually want, that means you need to compete in one league, and that means the best of the best, one league, you compete against the men. That's it. No separation of sports.
Yeah.
None of that stuff.
I'm down with that.
And that's why you're looking at it like,
what happens?
You see what's going on with the allegations of transformers in sports, and you're like, well, this is what you sign up for if you want to play sports and compete. You need to be able to compete against all. You disagree with the concept of 2 different standards.
Exactly. And actually, if that standard happened...
I see your perspective.
No, but if that standard happened...
It's funny.
No, but if that standard happened, what would happen? It'd just be men in sports.
Yeah, it would be.
Yeah. Because
maybe you'd have a couple of women competing here and there, but
So, for example, Serena Williams... No, I don't even think that'd be like Serena Williams, when she played the 200 or 300 ranked man, she got destroyed.
Yeah, she did.
When the women's football team...
And he was hungover too.
Yeah, and when exactly. So you can't even beat... The best woman of all time can't beat a drunk guy who is not even that good in terms of men's standards. Yeah. Obviously, smash us, but I'm talking about... So
you think sports in general needs to have the pinnacle of human competition?
That's what sport is.
Yeah.
Right? And also because I'm saying you need to be consistent, because you believe in gender equality in the workplace. They're saying that Myron earns 40,000 a year. That means this woman, even though she hasn't got the same skills as Myron, even though she probably hasn't worked hard as Myron, she needs to get paid the same. So if you're about equal pay and gender equality, do it properly throughout the board. Gotcha.
I see what you mean. You're literally taking it as what it is equality for all, which means we compete on the same playing field. Yeah. There's no special standards for you. It's you got to compete with the best of the best if you're going to go ahead and jump into this arena.
And I realized that the real game in this is man hatred. So as soon as I realized that, and the switch came on, I was like,
you're using their own logic against them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because if you want egalitarianism, that literally means equal means equal, which means there's no changes. All one.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and compete. And it's funny that you mentioned this, because when you look at feminism, right, and how it kind of seeps into society, what ends up, because let's be honest here, this is how do I say this? A politically correct feeling, moral type issue, right? We need to be equal and allow them the opportunity to get into certain things. Well, it causes issues, right? If you want to talk about the military, you want to talk about police departments, you want to talk about fire departments, etc., where a lot of the times this is a life or death situation, right? I'm a police officer. I have a female colleague, right, partner, and we get involved in a physical altercation with a suspect that might be strong, and I get injured. Is she going to be able to drag me to safety? No. More than likely not.
Yeah.
Right? But why is that? Well, because if you go all the way back to the hiring process, she only had to do 10 push-ups, whereas I had to do 50 push-ups. She only needed to run a mile and a half in 20 minutes versus I had to run it in 10 minutes. So the lack of the differentiation between the 2 standards, what it ends up actually doing is that dilutes the quality of the workforce.
So what you're saying?
And when you dilute the quality of the workforce, you dilute the capability of the employees. But the problem is that you're diluting the quality of the employees from only one perspective, and then the other half of the workforce has to compensate for that, and that puts them in danger. Now, it's one thing if you want to be in the office and work a sit-down job and like blah, blah, blah. But when we're talking about jobs where police officers, military, etc., where it can literally be life or death and the person next to you is responsible for your safety and you dying or living, I want someone that's capable, that passed the same standards I did. So I see your perspective here where this egalitarian mindset can have dire consequences, right? And we don't care about it because it's like, sports, woo, let's give them the equality. Job in the workforce, woo, let's give it to them. But then when we're talking about life or death, etc., and this person isn't capable because we want to be morally and politically correct, it causes it problems.
But just look at what you said. If you go with what you said, which is there has to be an equal standard, will there be, except for rare situations, will there be women in military, police, these type of...
Almost never.
Exactly.
Almost never.
And so in reality, if you apply your position to the sports arena or to various other arenas, in reality, what we're saying is women are biologically different to men. They're being created in if you believe in God, they're being created in a different manner, or if you believe in science or whatever, or both, they've evolved in a different manner.
I think even if you look at it from religion or science, it's true. What you said is true.
Yeah. They've evolved in a different manner, and therefore they have different skill sets and different capabilities. Well, I don't know if they've got different skill sets. I don't know if women got skills, but the thing is, they've got different capabilities, except for giving birth, maybe. They're more socially aware than men. That's for sure. Like they're like they're good at lying. Yeah. So no, I realized in your when I was doing your podcast, and I was like, wait a sec, why am I even asking them? Because they're just gonna lie to me. But I realized I started realizing it during
that's a part of social skills.
Yeah.
So they're better at social skills than us.
Yeah. Okay. So
go ahead.
So coming back to it, I'm saying the hate of, trust me on this, guys, like don't just think outside the box. The hate on the trans is solely man hatred. And in reality, what it's saying is that a man can basically chop off his genitalia, and even then we're going to abuse him. And my proof of that is if you look at all the extreme feminists, they're all against the trans community. Well, I thought they were one crew. LGBTQ, feminism. Feminism created this. They said gender is a social construct. This whole idea was actually created by feminists. It's just now they got to start getting smashed up in their own sports. And because men are better than women in almost everything, they're like, what are these guys who are basically being women smashing us in all areas? Like, we don't want this. So that's the reality of the situation. So yeah, I do stand with the trans community, and I'm down with Imane and that other Taiwanese biological men dominating sports and winning it.
Oh man, okay. I mean, that's a funny perspective because you're looking at it like equality everywhere. Like it's in every realm, whether it's the workforce, sports, equality all over the place, one standard, go ahead and compete.
Or that, which I agree with, or women just don't play sports. Like nobody wants to watch it. They're not good at it. It's not up to standards, and you're basically turning your girls gay and lesbian. And if you're turning your girls lesbian, because they keep telling me like Americans, you can't stop American women doing sports. That's fine, but maybe that's why you're having a population collapse. That's maybe why most of you guys aren't having women, because most of them are playing team sports, both professionally and at an amateur level, turning lesbian. There's other reasons for it as well, what's happening, and then that's why you're not having kids.
I don't see, me personally, I see your perspective. I don't think that there's anything wrong with women playing sports, because I do think like if you got like a teenage daughter or something like that, her playing sports and learning instruments and doing other things like that will make her more productive instead of having TikTok brain. But from a professional standpoint, I absolutely see your perspective.
Instruments,
because it's subsidized a lot of the times, right? And then even at the collegiate level, Division I, right? And I could say this, Title IX, right, for all my D1 athletes out there. What ends up happening is they have to give the same amount of money to female sports as they do for male sports, and I think that's ridiculous because, for equality, you're like, oh, well, if you look at like a big football program, right, like an Alabama or something like that, or a big basketball program, they give a lot of money to these sports teams, but these sports teams generate a lot of money for the university. But, for equality, they go ahead and they turn over that same amount of money into female sports teams, which are not, productive or profitable at all, right, which I think is ridiculous. So I think maybe at a high school level, at an amateur level, I think it's okay. I mean, we'd have to have a discussion about how to do it at college, but from a professional standpoint, I see a perspective completely because it's not profitable. But why do we do it? We do it because of, it feels right. And, and being politically correct, which, because here, if we put the shoe on the other foot, would we ever fund a male sports league if it wasn't profitable? Fuck no.
Never.
They tried with the XFL. That shit was gone within a year.
Exactly.
But we do it with the WNBA every year because of feelings, and that's ridiculous. So I definitely see your perspective.
So just on that, like I myself, like I've got daughters, and one of the things I did was when I tried to decide what activities they're going to get into, I really did look at what activities basically cause lesbianism and these type of behaviors, because in reality you have control over your kids when they're with you, and you can educate them. But with girls, and this data showing it, is very much influenced, impressionable, and do get affected. So, for example, team sports, even at that level, and like things like ballet, there's a high proportion of women who are basically LGBTQ in those areas.
Really?
Yeah. So that's why I wouldn't. But for example, playing the piano, playing the violin, it's not the case. So there are, of course, I'm not saying like keep your kid in, a woman, your daughter inside and don't teach her any skills. So like violin, piano, there are certain things that girls can do.
That's a lost art, teaching kids instruments.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a lost art.
That's what I would do. But in terms of like these things, that is kind of like you're putting your child in danger. Like, would you like you talk about this a lot? Would you send your daughter through a rough neighborhood?
No, of course not.
Because the likelihood of something happening is going to be higher. So similarly, I wouldn't send my child to sports because the likelihood of
What sports are the worst, would you say, from your data that you've looked at? And I know people here are going to say, Sully, where's your sources? So, I mean, from what you looked at, and you could tell them as well, what sports have you noticed the highest rates of, of girls becoming lesbian?
Soccer, ballet, the Olympics, so like athletic sports, what do you call it, running, when you go into athletics,
track and field,
track and field, you guys call it track and field, and there's one more sport, rugby, and
rugby.
yeah.
What about basketball? Basketball, I remember when I was in college, like all the girls on the team didn't like dudes.
I believe because I don't remember the data on basketball, but I remember reading an article, but I don't remember the percentages on it.
Okay.
Yeah, but basketball was quite high.
So one more time, you said soccer,
ballet, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And soccer, ballet, and what else?
Soccer, ballet, track and field, rugby.
Rugby makes sense.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Learn something new every day. Anything else that we want to talk about with this whole thing?
That's it.
Yeah. That's an interesting take. Yeah, I don't think men should be in women's sports, but I see your perspective as well. Okay.
We stand with the T's.
Yeah.
Yes.
What do we got here?
That's YouTube friendly, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
that is.
Might get a boost.
Yeah. What do we got next here? What do we got next? Oh, UK riots.
Okay.
UK riots.
Do you want that first or Venezuela first?
Actually, you know what? Yeah, because UK riots might take some time, right? We could do Venezuela first.
And the chat will get emotional, so we'll...
Yeah, go ahead.
Right,
so
okay.
take us through, and I guess I could do the preamble. Like basically, a week ago, I would say now at this point, Venezuela had elections. It was Maduro versus, God damn it, what's the other guy's name? Someone help me out here.
It was Maria...
No.
Well, she was endorsing the dude that ran against him.
That's right, yeah.
But either way, long story short, everyone says that the election was rigged.
Yeah.
Everyone's saying that Maduro is a dictator. He's communist. He's fucking the country up. He's responsible for the massive inflation that they've been suffering through. 1/3 of Venezuelans have left the country, fled the country. Something like 7 or 8 million, if I'm not mistaken, have left.
Yes.
Venezuelans have left. And which, I'll tell you guys, here in Miami, we got a lot of them here. And they're all here on, pretty much asylum or temporary protected status. So, or TPS, I think is what it stands for. So, yeah. What do you what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah. So first of all, I know you had Jackson the other day, so shout out to him because he actually went to Venezuela.
Yeah, Jackson was in Venezuela. He's crazy. He's back now, thank God.
Yeah.
They were gonna kill him.
Yeah, they did.
They literally doxed his hotel and everything, bro. I was like, bro, what do you... I literally texted him, I said, bro, get the fuck out of Venezuela. Like, they're doxing you. They know where you're at. They're putting out pictures of you and stuff like that. Like, dude, you got to get out of there.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's good
crazy.
advice. Yeah.
But I'm glad he's okay. He's back.
So he's an example of someone, and many others like Alan McLeod and various other people who went to Venezuela to basically
oversee the elections. Yeah.
But let's just take it back. So Venezuela, why is Venezuela important? Because Venezuela is rich in crude oil, which
more than Saudi Arabia even.
Yeah, rich in crude oil, rich in a number of minerals, including diamonds. I don't know who's interested in diamonds.
Edmundo Gonzalez.
Edmundo Gonzalez. Okay, was who he ran against.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Mo.
And he was supported by, he was basically like the fake representative of Maria Guaido, wasn't she? So
that's who they really wanted.
Yeah. So what happened was, that you basically had a scenario where, so let's look at, this is why Venezuela is important. So for a very long time, the US, through the CIA, has attempted to coup in Venezuela to take it out and to basically put their own operatives in there.
Yeah.
And that's both America and other foreign nations like Israel. So these countries have been basically attempted to do that. Now, you basically they attempted a coup against Chavez.
Chavez was the guy was the leader
previous-
prior to. For
Maduro.
those that are wondering, Chavez was the leader prior to Maduro. He died in 2013 from cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
Chavez.
That's right. Yeah.
And Maduro was his vice president. So Maduro basically rose to power, pretty much kept the same exact policies that Chavez had. But when Chavez got in, people wanted him in because he was kind of like, we're going to stop the corrupt military, blah, blah, blah. So he was actually like, the people wanted him in. But then obviously, I guess as he continued on, maybe support waned a bit. And then Maduro came in, and I don't know if there's the same level of support. I don't know what to believe anymore with this whole, with Venezuela.
So
But
look,
go ahead.
they're socialists, right?
Yeah.
Or communists.
Yeah.
So like obviously Americans, like I've noticed, as soon as they hear the word communist, they kind
They
of
get angry.
lose
Yeah.
their mind.
Yeah.
So then they won't see any form of rationale. So you could even be like, yeah, he's a commie, but like these things are good about him. And they're like, nah, he's a commie, right? Whereas us, like, because I don't believe in like communism or capitalism, like we can just like look at things like in a rational perspective. So when you look at, for example, what happened, so you had Hugo Chavez who basically took over. America wanted him out. They even attempted a coup. Now they say it was by the diaspora, Venezuelans, but we know this is like all CIA-backed, Mossad-backed one. So they did an operation in even 2000, I believe, where they did Operation Gideon, where they tried to take him out. There was also another CIA operation where they actually managed to take him out for like 48 hours.
Wait, you're telling me America tried to kill a Latin American leader that's a communist? Come on, bro.
Nah,
They would never do that.
they would never do that. Neither would Israel. Would never be involved in that.
Come on, man.
They would never be involved in that.
Dude, what are you talking about,
Yeah.
man?
Exactly. And then so what happened was you basically, to the extent where they actually managed to overthrow him for 48 hours. And what happened? You know how he survived? The people stood up for him. The military stood up for him and stopped. So even, put him back in power. So they've attempted coups many and many times. Even to the extent where in 2018, they basically had somebody else who they basically recognized a new leader instead of Maduro. They did the same thing they did now. And then that's why he got banned, because this Maria, the woman they wanted in place.
Yeah, could we pull her name up real quick?
I think it's Maria Guaduardo.
Yeah,
Yes.
pull up her name
Yes.
real fast. Go ahead.
Yeah, and so then what happened was you basically in 2018 they attempted that coup. So they attempted to replace him, and again it didn't work, and Maduro basically stayed in charge. So they've been attempting to overthrow Maduro a significant number of times. Now what happened is throughout this time they put sanctions on Venezuela.
Heavily sanctioned.
Heavily sanctioned, right? Which has been increasing. Which is when you do sanctions don't affect the president, they affect the poor people in the country.
Yes.
So in reality, because the psychology of sanctions is this: you put sanctions on a country, the poor people suffer, the poor people die from it, and maybe then that causes the poor people to revolt.
Yeah.
So that's the idea of like real.
It's what we've done to Iran. It's what we've done to Cuba. It's what we've done to all of our adversaries. We did it to Russia when they invaded Ukraine. I mean, yeah, it's a typical political strategy.
It's the real idea of Mikado, yeah. So the real idea of
Machado, yeah.
of what you call it, putting sanctions in. Then what happened was you basically, so they tried that didn't work, and then they put sanctions in. Finally, what Maduro said is, look, I'll just do another election. Like you're all complaining about it, we'll just do another election. And they had an agreement. Part of the agreement was that they would like release or minimize the sanctions for him to do this new election.
Okay.
Right.
Sanctions from the United States to be specific.
That's
okay.
right, yeah. And remember, this Maria Machado, she basically attempted, she wanted the CIA to come in and do a coup before. She even asked for the CIA to come in and do a coup. And she even said, like, I stand with Israel. Like, any pain that Venezuelans go through, Israel goes through. Also, with Maduro, he's extremely pro-Palestine. If you see,
he is. He actually didn't he say free Palestine right before he gave his own vote?
Yeah, he did. So he knew. Basically, that was basically sticking up a finger to the other side because they knew who's on the other side, isn't it?
Yeah.
In reality. And then so basically, he knew that they're gonna say that the elections are not real. He knew that they're gonna say that the opposition's won. He knew that was gonna happen already because they did it before to him, right? So this time, what he did was he got international observers, journalists, politicians, people from a wide range of backgrounds, from a wide range of countries to come in and observe the elections. All of them are saying the elections went fine. On the day of the election, you basically had these bell accounts who basically tried to make it look like that the election was fake. So you saw them posting, like Visegrad is one example. Someone who was reposted by Elon Musk a number of times, where he'd show like basically, they were like, oh, they're stealing the ballot boxes, and then you look at it and you think, oh, wait a sec, these are just air conditioning units. Another one was, oh, look, the elections are fake. This adds up to 108% because Maduro got like 51%. The second guy got 43%.
Yeah, they said numbers didn't add up.
Yeah, they said the numbers didn't add up, but in reality it was because all of the other opposition, other than the front two, they got 4.5% in total. So it did add up to 100%. But they...
Okay. Oh, so there were more than 2 people on the ballot is what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's the discrepancy between the percentages.
Yeah, that's right. Because what they did was, the discrepancy was this, that they said 51% Maduro, 43%, I think it was, or 44% to... 46% to the... Anyway, whatever the percentage is to the second guy. Edmundo. And then...
Well, I'm going to ask you to jump in this in a second, because I know Venezuela is one of your things.
Yeah, and then third, fourth, fifth, sixth guys, all together, they got 4.5% together. Right? But they made it look like each one got 4.5%. And so then they said, oh, it adds up to 108%. But in reality, so again, Elon retweeted that. And then
Elon has been big on like saying that the election is fake and Maduro is a tyrant, etc.
Yeah, I wonder why.
Elon really dislikes Maduro.
I mean, why? So Elon's propping up Javier Milei, Gers Wilder, Viktor Orban. What do they all have in common?
Their countries are rich and
Bell. The Zionist control. Oh,
no, you're good.
Yeah. They're controlled
by the Z's.
Yeah, they're controlled by the Z's, nationalists, and that's the reason he propagates them or perpetuates them, and he has deals with them himself as well. Whereas
Argentina is rich in God damn it, what's the precious commodity that they're rich in that electric cars need? Fuck.
Lithium.
Is it lithium? Someone in the chat's gonna put it. So someone put it in the chat. Continue on. I don't know.
Yeah. So you basically have a scenario. This is the reason why Elon wants to overthrow, because when he overthrows, for example, Venezuela, he can replace it with a basically Z-controlled government. And so that's the reality of...
I'm saying lithium and cobalt.
Yeah, lithium, yeah. So that's in reality what he wants, right? So that's the reason he's against it. And he's pushing it. Like he was... If you look at X tried everything in his power to cause the coup. It was shocking. Like even where like Elon was posting and telling people to like overthrow, even when you saw these big Z accounts all posting the same thing, they all wanted to overthrow him. So look, I don't agree with I'm not a communist. I don't agree with communism. I think there's like certain flaws with the ideas. Although I'm friends with like people who believe in it, right? But the thing is, I'm not going to want to support somebody who wants to overthrow the legitimate government, overthrow a government just so America or Israel can take control of that country, basically grape it of its resources, and then basically have it destroyed. So that's the reason I was against the overthrowing of Maduro. It hadn't not much to do with anything
Jackson
else.
argues that Maduro is keeping the central banks away as well. That's another, the IMF, etc. So that's what Jackson was, for those that are wondering, Jackson Hinkle. He said that's another reason why the West wants him gone is because Maduro's anti-central bank.
Yeah, 100%.
Which we know who runs the central banks, right?
No,
so,
exactly.
But yeah.
No, 100%. So, like, for example, if you look at a lot of the capitalist structure, which basically controls a lot of the countries, of course, this is true. He's right.
Yeah.
I agree with him.
And then the countries that do support Venezuela, Russia, North Korea, China, etc. They're all adversaries of the United States. So,
yeah. But what happens with this is, as an American, just like from your guys' perspective, what really happens is this. Either you had one option where you could basically steal all their resources of them, but when you've now put sanctions on Maduro, when you failed to do this, what you tried to do, which was to overthrow him and put your own puppet in, when Israel and America failed to do that, then what you do is you don't put sanctions in. They put sanctions in back on Maduro. What do you think Maduro is going to do?
Make a sustainable government by it. I mean, that's what Russia did. Prepare and then create because Russia actually used the sanctions to their advantage. Their economy's up now. They're like the 5th strongest economy in the world.
So he'll improve his economy, but the way he'll do it is he'll make a deal with China and Russia.
Yeah.
And so what you're doing is you're still living in this world where you have American homogeny, where you could put sanctions on country. But now when you're putting sanctions on countries, they're like, wait a sec, I'm just going to go to China. I'm just going to go to Russia. And so, like, for example, if you look at the sanctions of Russia, you mentioned it, they basically, through India, have been giving Europe the various resources anyway. So sanctions aren't working. And so what you're doing is...
they don't have the same power that they used to.
They don't. And so what you're really doing is giving power to again, the BRICS.
That's what it
you give
does,
more
yeah.
power to China and Russia because now all of these countries are going to go to them. And that is going to weaken America significantly. So again, they've just not either. Well, we know the real reason they've done it is because of the Zionist control of these various establishments. That's the real reason they've done it. And then they want to take control of that country for that reason. But the impact it's going to have on America is significant. I come to America now and I'm seeing the ramifications of it. Because you live here, maybe you guys don't notice it. It is a failing society, right? And I love coming to America. Like, for
We're
example...
better than you guys. UK sucks.
Well, I don't know. I thought it did. But now I come here. Like, I came 10 years ago, right? For the first time. And I was like, the American service industry is just on another level. I'd walk into a shop and at least about 10 people would be like, hello, sir. How you doing? How's things? And I was like, what is going on here? These people are, first of all, so bubbly, so excitable. And there's like 20 of them like mauling me just to see if I'm okay when I come into a store. Now when you go into a store, there's literally like one person who's there and there's like huge queues, there's terrible service. Now you might think, oh, this is like, why is he talking about this? Because I tell you, the service industry gives you an example of how well the economy is doing in a more higher level.
Okay.
So a way to always look at it is when you look at the service industry and how well it's doing, that gives you example. Shops are closing down. They've only got less people working as sales assistants. They've not come out to give you a good service. There's huge queues. These always give you almost like a very basic enlightenment into how a society is doing and how an industry is doing. So when I look at your service industry and look at how bad it's gone over the last 10 years, I think America is struggling really badly.
Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, the economy is
Yeah,
I mean,
for
the
them.
markets are crashing now. I mean, yeah, definitely it's not like it was in 2014. There's been significant change. I mean, if we want to talk about inflation, we talk about the strength of the dollar, the purchasing power, it's all went down. I mean, and then you add in the fact that we printed like 80% of the money that's circulated right now, majority was printed in the last 4 years. That's crazy. You know what I mean? We've printed more money than ever before, you know, thanks to the pandemic. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely see your perspective there with the whole Venezuela thing. So what's your thoughts on it? Do you think that the elections were fair, or do you think that it was a scam, as many say?
I mean,
or rigged?
Yeah. I think the elections were fair.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they were fair, and that was demonstrated by the fact that he got outside observers. He tried to make sure that it was as fair as possible, right? Mm-hmm. And I think he knew that they're going to claim that it's not fair. So yeah, I do think they were fair elections. Because other than that, like, what is it? He faked the elections and then the other side won. So that means like really the CIA-backed person won. I don't think so.
Yeah. So you're saying you think he won and that there's great incentive to put him out of power because he doesn't want the central banks and he doesn't want the IMF and he doesn't want the country to follow some of the same capitalistic ideals and being controlled by central bankers like the West is.
So I agree with that. But in addition to that,
protecting their resources of
and
oil.
they're protecting their own resources because your own resources are basically your future.
Yeah.
Right? And also to make sure that you have sovereignty of your own country. That basically America or Israel isn't the countries who have control over your country. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm basically supporting Maduro.
Yeah.
And I believe that
versus a country like Ukraine, which BlackRock just basically bought it out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so if you look
Zelensky.
at many countries, any country you see that basically gave up its resources, gave everything up to the United States, they're not in a good position. So in reality, yeah, I believe in the sovereignty of the country, each country, and so if you believe in that, then yeah, you should be backing Maduro.
Okay, Mo, what's your thoughts on this? Obviously, Venezuela is a country that you love and you'd be going to and stuff like that. What's your thoughts? Because I'll be honest here, guys, I don't know enough about Venezuelan geopolitics to give a concrete stance on this. I like to just hear both sides because I've heard your side where you and Jackson think that the election was fair. Angie, my girl, thinks the elections were rigged, right? She's not a fan of Maduro, etc. So I'm hearing different perspectives. A lot of Venezuelans dislike Maduro.
In the diaspora.
Yeah,
sure.
a lot of them, yeah.
In America,
yeah. So, yeah, of course, yeah. But then you look at, some other stuff where people say, no, they love Maduro. He's done a lot for the country, kept it protected from, first world imperialism, whatever the hell. Well, go ahead, Mo.
Another part is Venezuela's banking on the Essequibo province.
Explain that to the people.
As Venezuela is going through a conflict between Venezuela and Guyana over the land of Essequibo, which is another big area where there's a ton of oil reserve.
Okay.
And Venezuela is basically banking on it. That's why they changed their flags. They changed the country map. For what's known in other parts of the world is there's a special the shape, the regular shape of the country. There's a big they're trying to claim Esquibo and they're invade was the word. Because they're actually having a conflict between Venezuela and Guyana because of they're trying to fix the inflation. Use the oil from the Esquibo province to fix the inflation that they're going through right now.
Gotcha. Do you think the elections were fair, or do you think that it was rigged? What are your thoughts?
That I'm not too sure. I could not say. I did hear both sides. I personally do not believe it is fair. Okay. Although what I believe is kind of like a America's thing, where maybe Edmundo won the popular vote, but he didn't win the Venezuela's version of electoral college.
Oh, Maduro, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
So just on that as well, remember the people who are claiming that the elections were rigged are basically Z-controlled establishments, NGOs, and papers like the Washington Post, the Edison Foundation.
Yeah.
So all of Emerson. So all
because there's talk that there's no food there. The grocery stores are empty and everything else. And Jackson went on Twitter and he showed like the grocery stores and stuff.
Jackson did do that. Look, there is poverty in Venezuela.
Of
right?
course,
yeah, of course, right. So I ain't gonna pretend like there's no poverty. There is definitely poverty in Venezuela. I blame the sanctions for that because the sanctions have caused it. Like you can't have a country with sanctions in the situation they are and that not impact like poverty. So there definitely is poverty in Venezuela. People are struggling there for sure. But I believe the sanctions. So all Venezuela now.
So the question comes to, I guess, right? Is it better for Maduro to work alongside the United States, right? Get rid of the sanctions, or is it better he holds out, continues to say no, fuck the central banks. I'm not bringing them in. I don't want to be an American puppet. And then deal with the sanctions. That's what it really comes down to.
But he tried to work with them. So he said to them, like, what do you want? And they were like, we want another election. And he's like, okay, reduce the sanctions. So they're like, okay, we've reduced the sanctions. He knew that they're going to say that the elections are rigged, hence why he got outside observers. So he's like, I'm working with Americans. I'm going to bring Americans in. Like, for example, Jackson Hinkle or Alan McLeod, who's British, and various others. I forgot the name of the woman who went there as well. She's pro-Palestinian. But anyway, she's many other great people, and she's got
creator. Basically, he brought influential people in.
Yeah, he brought people in. He's like, this will be evidence that I'm not rigged the election. And then even then they're like, nah, we don't believe that you won. We're gonna just choose this guy. We decided he's won. Like, and we've decided, and our NATO European countries have decided it. Everybody's accepting that Maduro's won. So other than that, the only else thing he could have done is say, look, I'm stepping down. I'm giving my country to you. America, Israel, you can have my country. You can take all our resources for yourself. He could have done that. I don't think that's the honorable. I don't think that's the.
Let me text Jackson, see if he's up right now. I'll get him on the phone because he literally was just in Venezuela.
Yeah.
Especially their currency, the bolivar, is damn near worthless to the trash. A lot of companies over there, they use U.S. dollars. Like they prefer U.S. dollars. They take U.S. dollars.
Yeah.
A lot of companies.
Yeah, for sure, because they've crushed the economy. Like they, of course, there's no doubt about it. People struggle in Venezuela, but I blame the sanctions for it. And I think now that the new deal that it's so obvious. Like I was like, they're gonna go to China, and then I read a couple of articles that they are basically making deals with China. So
let's do a poll in the chat. Let's see what they say, what they think. Were the Venezuelan elections rigged, guys, or not, or fair?
They're just gonna be like, oh, listen, they're commies. It's all fair.
Yeah, let's ask them anyway.
You'll be surprised.
Let's see what they got to say. And guys, and if you don't know, don't vote. I want people that are actually geopolitically aware of the Venezuelan situation to vote here. Don't be one of these tinfoil hats like everything is right. Like, do you guys think the elections were fair? Let's just say that. Do you guys think the elections were fair in Venezuela? We'll do a poll on YouTube. Rumble is going to come out with it soon, so let's see. And if you don't know, just stay impartial. Like me, I don't know. Or you could put a third thing there, Bill, saying I'm not sure, impartial.
So look, there's a couple of comments on this. So someone said, first of all, said Sulaiman's anti-American. Second thing, why is it bad for him to be US's puppet? So the reason is because you're Israel's puppet. Like, what are you talking about? You don't even have your own autonomy. Like, you don't even have your own country. So, yeah, I don't think it's a good idea for people to become Israel's puppet. So, yeah, I hope that answers your question.
All right. Let's go ahead.
That was an unpopular opinion saying it's fair.
Yeah, that is an unpopular opinion, yeah.
It's going to get worse when we do the UK stuff, don't worry.
Okay, so I guess we can transition over to the United Kingdom situation. And with this, I'm not going to lie. I don't know much about. I know there's been some riots on the mass immigration unit in the United Kingdom. I think that is the main. Is that the main reason why with the mass immigration?
No, that's the claim. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah.
You know, obviously, I want to get your take on it later on this week. By the way, guys, I'll probably bring Tommy Robinson on and get his take on it. You know, obviously, I like to hear all perspectives. I know Sulaiman and Tommy aren't necessarily the best of friends. But I'll turn it to you, Sulaiman. Tell us what the hell is going on in the United Kingdom. This is your home country. You've been there for many years. So.
Well, I was born there.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you were born and raised there, right?
Yeah,
So.
I'm third generation. So, okay, so let's break it down, right? Look, I know your chat's gonna cry and cry and cry, and it's fine. Yeah, get ready for it. Get ready for your tears.
Okay.
So, like, let's look at this. So first of all, let's look at this. Let me give you a proper backdrop of what's happened.
Okay.
So you basically have a scenario that in the UK, people are significantly pro-Palestine, right?
Okay.
To the extent where every Sunday, people go out in their numbers, largely white people.
Okay, I was going to ask, is this due to the large Muslim population in the United Kingdom? Or is it due to just...
So Muslim population in the UK is... Well, actually, let me ask you guys, what do you guys think that you... Because based on the media, you might have a certain perception. What do you guys think that the UK population is, a Muslim population is in the UK? As a percentage.
Okay, so I guess...
Noble knows, so obviously...
I would say 30 to 40%.
Okay.
I would say...
maybe 35.
Okay.
I would say, okay, so I've been to the United Kingdom a few times, especially in the last 1 or 2 years. I spent all my time in London, though. So London obviously is a microcosm of the bigger population. So there was a big Muslim population in London. However, that does not account for the rest of the United Kingdom. So what I would say is, I would say at the most, maybe 10 to 20%. Okay. That's the Muslim population. I still think the overwhelming majority is probably going to be Christian, Catholic, Caucasian.
Okay, so I'm looking at your chat. People are saying 35%, 30%, 40%, 25%.
Because London isn't an accurate representation.
Yeah. So it's
in my opinion.
It's 6%.
6%.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, are we talking about people that identify as Muslim, or are we talking about people that are from foreign lands?
People who are Muslim.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you're talking about, what do you mean by foreign lands?
Pakistan. I know there's a lot of Pakistani immigrants there.
So you mean
Moroccans,
non-white?
etc.
So you mean because for example, I'm born in the UK, but I'm not white. So do you mean non-white population?
Yeah, non-white. Yeah.
Okay. So the white population in the UK is 80. So in the 2011 census was 82%. I believe the last census it was 77%. White.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so 77% are Caucasian.
Yeah.
And then that leaves about 23% as being minority.
Yeah.
And then you're saying of that 23% minority, roughly 6% of them are Muslim.
That's
and
right.
of course, there's going to be white Muslims too, but...
That's right,
yeah. Okay.
I think there's actually a very large white Muslim population in the UK. What was the number again? I believe it could have... Okay, I can't remember the number. It was either 80,000 or 800,000, but 800,000 don't make sense.
Okay.
It must be 80,000.
Well, where are they from? Bosnia?
Converts.
Oh, converts.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough. So, okay, but only 6% of the population is Muslim. Okay. What about in London?
London.
It's got to be higher.
15%.
15% in London.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. So now we've kind of got an idea, right?
Okay.
But I like that we asked that question because most of the chat thought 30, 35%, 40%, 25%. They thought it was really high because of what the media says, right?
Yeah.
So what happened is you've basically got these pro-Palestinian, and you know what it is in the UK? Generally speaking, the vast majority are more towards like more liberal, but they're not liberal. So they're more like, you have like a big percentage who are like woke leftists. Then you have a big percentage who are liberals, but not woke. And then you have basically people who are right conservatives. And then you have people who are like far right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I know they're going to cry when I'm using far right, but what would the terminology you're going to use, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, so if you look at the UK, the pro-Palestinian protests, we had so many people going every week. Some weeks it was over 1 million. One week it was 1.3 million. Now just think about that.
What was that at? In London?
London, yeah.
Wow.
But people from like throughout UK. Because remember, our population in the UK of adults is only about 35, 40 million.
Oh.
So just think how many people turned out.
Okay.
It's a huge percentage.
Yeah.
Never mind the people who support it, but then just didn't go to the streets.
Okay.
So you've got millions upon millions upon millions of people who go to the streets and no violence, hardly any violence whatsoever.
Before?
In any of these protests.
Okay.
Right? The only time there was violence was when the Z-controlled fake nationalist Tommy Robinson did a protest, and then there was some violence and police were attacked, right? So you see that. And what happened was the Zionist-controlled government were getting angry, and they were like, we need to stop this. And even people like Suella Braverman said, we need to stop. We need the police to stop people protesting. We need to make it illegal. We need to make it so that if you speak for Palestine, it becomes illegal. So they wanted to turn it into a police state.
Interesting.
But the public would never...
And you guys don't have the same levels of freedom of speech that we do over here, right?
True.
You
guys have the
that's
First
important.
Amendment.
Yeah, I think that's very important for the audience to understand. Is like they don't have a First Amendment over there. Because I've seen people get arrested off Twitter tweets in the UK.
Yeah. And so you basically got these things happening. Now, I'm going to come to this incident, so just understand this as a backdrop.
Okay.
Then you basically got someone like Tommy Robinson, right?
Okay.
Tommy Robinson isn't anti-immigration. Tommy Robinson said he wants immigration from India, he wants immigration from Africa, he wants immigration from China, he wants immigration from everywhere, he just doesn't want Muslims.
Okay.
So he's not anti-immigration, he's anti-Islam.
Okay.
Right? And you might say, oh, Islamophobia, don't use the word terminology Islamophobia, which I think is dumb, because either you say you can't use Islamophobia, you can't use anti-Semitism, you can't use anti-white, or you can use all the terminologies, right? Because there's a lot of people who are like, oh, Sulaiman's been anti-white, but why is he crying about Islamophobia? Contradiction, right? You can't be saying that you can't use a term, but you can't use a term, right? So, Tommy Robinson is someone who is a Zionist. He is paid by Israel, and there's significant links to him to that. For example, Ezra Levant is the guy who basically had a rebel and use a rebel media. He's one of his main backers, and he's been known to and he's again a Zionist Jewish guy, right? And to the extent where, for example, he went to Canada recently, and he had another woman with him, and she is anti-immigration, right? She's a Caucasian woman. She was anti-immigration.
You're talking about Tommy or this
other woman? This other woman.
But she was with Tommy, or
she went with Tommy to Canada,
okay.
right? And what happened was she went with Tommy to Canada, and in Canada, Canada, the immigration is mainly from India.
Oh yeah, they arrested him in Canada recently.
Well, this is what I'm going to explain to you. So this woman, what she said was, I was shocked. I'm spending time with this guy, and he goes into like some Indian restaurant, and she's like, obviously she's against like any kind of immigration, so at least she's consistent, right? And she's like, I'm against all forms of immigration. Why is he going to an Indian restaurant when in Canada the most migration is from India?
Yeah. Huge Indian population.
So she's like, why is he going there? So he goes there, and then he basically...
Because he likes curry, man.
Yeah, and then he smokes some, and he likes coke, because he's like basically according to her, he basically has loads of coke, gets off his head, and then does an interview. But in there, what they do is they plan for the arrest. So that's her claim, that him, Tommy Robinson, and Ezra plan out that he's going to get arrested. Yeah. So what happens is, this is my argument about Tommy, that what he does is he does these fake arrests. Like, for example, I'll explain. So he does these fake arrests, gets arrested, and then goes on a fundraising spree. So that's literally his MO. So as an example, right now, he got arrested in the UK for the Terrorism Act, right? They said. But if you look at it, so I've studied the Terrorism Act. I literally did my thesis on it. So according to the Terrorism Act, you can literally hold someone for 28 days without access to an attorney and without questioning them. You can basically hold them for 28 days. It was used against the Muslim population for like 2 decades, right?
In the United Kingdom.
In the United Kingdom.
Did this come after the London bombings in 2005?
September the 11th.
Oh.
After 9/11, yeah.
It's legislation that came after 9/11.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. All right. And then I'm assuming they probably exercised that a lot after the bombings in 2005.
No, they exercised it immediately.
Okay.
And actually, not only did they exercise it immediately, like people like Tommy Robinson and another guy called Majid Nawaz, who was a Muslim Zionist, although now he's kind of switched sides, but at that time he was a Muslim Zionist. I still think he is.
Which there are Muslim Zionists, by the way, guys. So I know some of you are like, wait, there's no possible. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. So they basically perpetuated the Prevent, which was basically in schools. Like your children could be taken off you because they think you're an extremist, right? So anyone who kind of is overtly...
So it's maybe the functional equivalent of like the Patriot Act here in the United States.
It is exactly like the Patriot Act.
Okay. What's it called again? It's called the Terrorism Act in the United Kingdom? Okay.
It's like the Patriot Act. Mass surveillance and exactly. And so you basically... so again, these guys perpetuate it through Quilliam Foundation. So what I'm saying is they could have held him for 28 days. Why did they only hold him for 1 day? He was going to screen this movie, which was illegal to screen. And...
Why was it illegal?
Because what basically happened was he did a court case against some Syrian refugee, there was a defamation case between him and a Syrian refugee. He lost the case.
Okay.
And then he was going to make a movie claiming that really, it was all fake and he should have won. And they basically said that it's illegal for him to...
Is it the Syrian kid that was bullied?
That's right.
The 15-year-old?
That's right, yeah.
Okay, so they sued him for defamation.
That's right.
Okay, and they won the case.
That's right. So Tommy lost. And Tommy's claim is, just to be fair to him, his claim is that the judicial system was basically unfair to him, that they intentionally made him lose. Really, the evidence was on his side.
Okay.
So he made this movie to say, like, look, this is my side of the story. This is really what happened. I think it's called Silence or something.
Yeah.
Right?
Actually, I think it's the documentary that's pinned to his top of his tweet. Which, by the way, guys, don't worry. I'm going to bring Tommy on to tell his side as well.
Yeah,
But yeah, so.
Yeah, you can listen to the Zionist side later. So then what happened was, right, so you basically have a scenario where he, what you call it? So, yeah, so the police know he's going to go there. They claim 100,000 people went to the march. I don't believe it. I think there's maybe...
The Tommy's March.
Yeah.
When did he have this march? A couple days ago?
A couple of weeks ago.
A couple weeks, okay.
Yeah. And they believe like 100,000 people went. I think there was much less than that, maybe 50, 60,000. But that was not just him. It was him, Katie Hopkins, Lawrence Fox, Nigel Farage, like all of this brought us together.
Are these all far-right voices in the United Kingdom?
Exactly. But
for all the people that might not be familiar?
But all Zionists.
Okay.
Yeah. Because the far-right voices who are now Zionists, like Nick Griffin or Jada Franson, I think her name is, they're segregated. They're not accepted. So they are nationalists, but they're not Zionists. So you see the difference, right?
All right. And now we're guys, chat. We're getting into like the British world of
politics,
political media,
Yeah.
Like so this is all new
just
to me here.
prove.
I know who Nigel Farage is.
Yeah.
And Tommy Robinson, obviously, but these
Yeah.
other names that you mentioned, I'm like, wait, hold on.
Just to prove my thesis that this guy isn't a real nationalist, when British military men were killed in Gaza by Israel, three British military men.
Oh, the ones that were there to feed them.
Exactly.
And one Australian, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. And one American Canadian.
Yeah.
Right? So when they got murdered by Israel,
Yeah.
don't you think the nationalists would speak out and say, "Oh my God, why did they kill this military?"
I even posted about that they killed an American and British citizens.
Or
I
you could
posted
at
about
least
that.
say, "Look, our condolences go to them. It was an accident." Just say some kind of condolence. Nothing, because they're controlled by Israel, so they're not allowed to say anything for British military men. So coming back to it, so he did that march, and they knew he was going to screen that movie, which is illegal. Now you can have an argument and say, look, should it be legal or not? Free speech.
Why is it illegal to screen a movie?
Because basically because that movie was about the court case that he lost. So imagine you do a court case.
All right,
Imagine I take you to court and I beat you.
Yeah.
And then you're like, nah, bruv, I'm going to do a movie about it where I'm going to show you that really the truth is on my side. And the judge says, no, Sulaiman won the case, the defamation case, and any movie you're going to relay is lies and propaganda and basically is going to be defamation again, and therefore you're not allowed to release the movie.
Okay, so he violated some civil British law by doing that.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
So you can't, if you lose a defamation case, you can't make a subsequent movie about it, I guess, according to some...
No, it was just that judge made that judgment. Like, it's not like an always case, like you can't do it all the time.
Okay. But
right.
Okay, so all right, British.
Yeah.
So he violated
So
some civil British law.
And I'm not saying that. By the way, I'm not saying I agree with the judgment. Like,
yeah, you're just saying that's what British law is.
No, I'm not. That was the ruling of the judge. Not that it's British law. It's not like every time you lose a defamation case, you have to not.
So
be
maybe he made him sign an NDA or some shit like that as a part.
It was a judgment. It was an order. Yeah.
Within the judgment.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
So,
all right.
And by the way, I'm not against him releasing the movie. Like, I think everyone should have free speech. So I'm not bothered about the movie. That's not my argument.
Yeah.
Right. So then what happened was, but they knew he was going to screen it, right?
Okay.
So why not stop him before? So why let him screen the movie, have Elon Musk boost it because he replies to it, and then arrest him for a day and then let him out? I find this all very suspicious.
Okay, so he had this march. He gets arrested at the march.
No, after the march.
Okay, after the march. He got arrested, and you said he got arrested under the Terrorism Act?
Yeah.
Okay.
For 1 day.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, rather than 28 days.
Okay.
So I think it's all fake to, again, propel him and to make him more popular because he was dead. Until they start doing these fake legal cases and until Elon Musk started basically replying under his post and whatever, his following wasn't even moving. I went past him in followers. So even though when he was brought back, I know he's brought back later, but his follower wasn't moving, and I was like, well, I was less than him, and then I went well past him. I think he was on like 400k. I was on like 380. I went to like 500, and he was still stuck on the same amount.
Okay.
And
On Twitter.
Then, yeah, on Twitter that is. And I'm just giving the example just to understand like what's going on. And then what happened was
You got arrested in Canada. I remember seeing that.
And then these arrests keep happening, and then he kept letting out, and then basically all these.
What they arrested for in Canada again? Can we pull that up real fast? What they arrested him for in Canada? I'm trying to remember. It was something
for being an illegal immigrant.
It was the immigration, right?
Yeah.
Something on his like. They said that he lied on his document when he came in or something like that.
He lied that he didn't have no prior convictions.
Okay. All right. Bills, if we could pull that up real quick. Go ahead. Sorry.
So what was it?
You were talking about him getting arrested. And
Yeah.
Said,
So
okay.
I say that all the arrests I don't believe in. They're all there to propel him. Ezra Levant's the mastermind behind it, to basically propel him in social media.
And who's Ezra Levant? Just so everybody.
Ezra Levant is a Jewish Zionist in charge of a rebel media.
Okay.
And Rebel News, you've probably seen them. So people like Imaj Chung and all these guys are basically part of that. You know, quite a few of these Zionist accounts on Twitter, which are quite big, and Elon reposts are all part of that.
It's conservative media?
Well, they claim they're conservative. I say they're Zionist.
Okay, so it may be our American equivalent of Fox News.
No, I mean, Rebel.
Because I've never heard of a rebel in America.
I think it's Australian.
Oh,
but, yeah.
okay.
But like these accounts are on Twitter, so that's how we know them. Right?
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So now, and I could be wrong about the Australian thing, so do double check that. So then what happened was, so you've got this pretext of what's going on, right? And then what happens is in Southpark. Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the Tommy Robinson. Does it show specifically why he got arrested?
This is pretty much.
Oh, CBSA. There you go. Everyone traveling to Canada must show they meet the requirements to enter the country. The CBSA notes that someone can be ruled inadmissible for a slew of concerns, including criminal activity or human rights violations. The specific allegation Robinson faces is misrepresentation. Scroll down a bit for me, Bills. Which can include giving information that is untrue, misleading, or incomplete. A spokesperson for the Immigration Division of the Immigration and Refugee Board of Canada said on Thursday. So now Robinson, whose real name is Stefan Yaxley Lennon, faces a hearing which will determine whether or not Mr. Lennon is admissible to Canada and whether or not he will be authorized to remain or be ordered removed from Canada, the spokesperson said in an email. Okay, so basically, guys, a CBSA, Canadian Border Services Authority, if I'm not mistaken, is what they stand for. That they are, think of them as our Customs and Border Protection in the United States. So basically, he had an immigration violation, and that's what got him arrested. Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. So, by the way, I'll debate Tammy Robinson anytime, any place, right?
All right, I'll ask
even on
him.
your show if you want.
I'll ask him.
Right. So coming back to it, so now you understand the pretext behind it, right?
Yeah.
And then what happened was you basically had a scenario where in Southport, so it's an area in the north of England.
Okay. It's in the north, but it's called Southport. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Southport, yeah.
Okay.
So it was listen, your guys' states are named after our states. So
Hey, man, y'all lost in 1776, man. You guys showed up in those red jackets like idiots and lost.
The
British are coming.
Yeah.
So
Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's a good one. So anyway, coming back to it, you basically had a scenario where in Southport, this 17-year-old went and murdered a lot of people. People who were at a Taylor Swift concert, killed at least 3 children. Right?
The fuck?
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's like a huge incident that occurs.
Sure.
Right? And then a lot of major accounts, such as like these kind of like Dave Atherton. I don't remember if Tommy Robinson said it, but I think he did. And many of them basically lied.
Was this guy a terrorist, a 17-year-old kid that did it?
Many of them lied and said that it was a Muslim.
Okay.
And said his name was Ali Al-Shanti. I think I'll give you guys the links to it. But Ali Al-Shanti, right? So it's a Muslim guy. His name is Ali Al-Shanti. He's a Palestinian Jordanian. And he just came as an illegal immigrant off the boat 1 year ago.
That was the claim.
That was the claim.
Okay.
They perpetuated that and posted it, and it went viral, and it got the entire UK, like it got the entire, like a lot of people within the UK angry. They're like, wait a sec, why is this illegal immigrant who's only come a year ago, a Muslim terrorist, killing our women?
He killed them with knives, I'm guessing?
He stabbed him, yeah, stabbing.
Okay.
It was a stabbing, right? So he basically propelled all of these and manipulated them into thinking it. And why did they give that information? Because he wants everyone to turn against these people, because the entirety of the UK is pro-Palestine, and they want to stop the protests and they want to stop the anti-Zionist speech. So they give this idea. So everyone start talking and start hating on Muslims again. So you know what was happening 10, 20 years ago? Oh, Muslims are evil. Islam, we hate Muslims. These guys are bringing Sharia law to the country, like 6% of the country. How are they bringing Sharia law to the country? It's the most dumbest thing ever. Grooming gangs, all of these things.
Okay.
Because there's this position that people say about the UK that there's a huge amount of grooming gangs that were occurring in the UK by Muslims, predominantly Pakistani Muslims, that were happening in the UK. That was basically, anyone grooming is horrific, right? And anyone who's grooming, I don't care what race, religion, who you are, like you should feel the full extent of the law. And actually within Islam, the punishment is much more harsher and much more graver to these people, including but not limited to the death penalty.
Okay.
So, like, it's all horrific. Their argument is that it is extremely, it's like literally only Muslims doing it mainly.
Okay.
Right? I looked at the data. I did a big thread on this and showed that actually it's not disproportionate. It's basically everyone does it. And even the study that they used, that they took only a sample size of 200 people. And what that study, which I basically debunked as well, but I said, look, I debunked your study, but let's just take that study as being true. What that actual study showed is that the Muslims were pimping, but the non-Muslims, so the white community, was actually partaking in the sex and the pedophilia. Does that make sense?
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. Now, that's what I showed.
So all parties are guilty.
Yeah.
Okay.
But my point is this. Let's say I'm wrong.
So who was that 17-year-old then? Was he actually?
Okay, no, he wasn't a Muslim. So I'm going to come to that.
Okay.
So cause I'm just giving you their argument so you understand what they were trying to propel about the Muslims.
Okay. How long ago was this, by the way?
Which bit?
This 17-year-old that did this.
Just last Wednesday.
Oh shit.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. But then they start bringing up things from like the last 5 years, 10 years, grooming gangs.
To
Muslims
include to this situation.
Muslims
saying that this has been a problem for a long time.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
Muslims are trying to take over.
Okay.
They're trying to implement Sharia law. Like, we want, all these type of things, yeah. So obviously I don't get manipulated by the media. So I was like, yeah, this is just totally fake, right? I don't even believe that. Let me see if it's going to be a Muslim or not. But what I'm saying is I know that the real reason is because of this. And then so later, after about a day or two, we find out that actually it wasn't a Muslim. It was a Christian guy, but he was a minority. So he's from Rwanda.
Okay.
But he's born here, but his parents are born in Rwanda.
When you say here, you mean the United Kingdom?
Sorry, UK. Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, UK. Sorry. So basically, his parents are from Rwanda. They come to the UK, and then they work in the UK. They have children, and then he's the child.
So he's actually a Christian Rwandan.
Yeah, exactly.
How would they? I'm assuming if he's Rwandan, he's black, right?
Yeah.
So could they mistake him for a Palestinian Jordanian?
Because they lied.
But I mean, just even off skin color alone, it's like
because no pictures were released on him.
Okay.
So,
because he's a minor.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So in the United Kingdom, you guys have similar laws to us, where if it's a minor, you don't take pictures. Their faces are blurred out.
That's right. Yeah. And UK has a weird thing where you're considered a minor if you're under 18.
Okay.
But like when it comes to like sex, it could be over 16. So it's legal to have sex with.
Okay, the age of consent is 16.
16, yeah.
But for criminal culpability, 18 and above.
Yeah, so that's considered a minor. So it's a bit weird the way UK. So that's why.
Interesting.
Yeah. So
now it makes sense. So what's his real name then? Because they tried to say his name was Ali something.
Axel. I don't know. Do you want to bring it up? Axel something. I can't remember. It's like some
fair enough
Rwandan name.
So the name was incorrect.
Yeah.
His background was incorrect, and his religion was incorrect.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow! How long did it take to get the truth out?
It was like a couple of days. But by then, this entire Muslim hatred has stoked up significantly.
Yeah.
Right. By Tommy Robinson.
Okay.
The guy who's for immigration but not against Islam. And why that's ironic is this, just for your audience. In the UK, illegal immigration isn't like the US. So people in the US sometimes get confused by it because you guys have a major illegal immigration issue, right?
Yeah.
And how many illegal immigrants do you guys have on a daily basis?
Oh man, a lot. They're catching them at the border every single day.
Do you know the numbers?
Ooh, I don't know I mean, we could look it up. I don't have the number. I don't know the numbers.
Axel,
it changes year by year.
Yeah, Ritter Cubana. So that was his name.
Typically, when there's a Democrat in office, they attempt more versus when there's a Republican in office.
Okay.
So, but we can look it up and see how many people.
But why I'm saying that is I assume that you guys probably have more in a week than we have in a year.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Probably more in a day than we have in a year.
100%,
So we have like 30,000 in the whole year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not that much at all.
Exactly.
It's not that much at all.
But why I'm saying that is,
well, the UK is kind of isolated. Like, it's not easy to get there. It's surrounded by water.
It's surrounded by
fucking water, dude. So it's like
exactly.
Yeah.
So they manipulate your mind into thinking that we have a major illegal immigration issue when we only have 30,000 illegal immigrants a year. So we don't have a
How the
major
fuck do they even get in by boat? I guess.
by boat from France. Yeah. So there's a major illegal immigration. So there isn't a major illegal immigration issue. Now migration does happen.
Yeah.
Right. Legal migration happens. Legal migration in the UK is not from Muslim countries.
Okay.
So the biggest legal migration, if you take the last year and the last 5 years, is from 3 countries. India, number 1. Number 2, and Tommy Robinson's friends with the Indians. He went on Indian TV just a few days and goes, "We all want you. Like, come to England. Like, we want you in your droves. Like, I'm going to issue with Indians. It's just Muslims I have an issue with, right?"
Okay.
So
A lot of Indians are Muslim though.
So yeah, about 30% are Muslim.
Oh, it's a minority.
Yeah.
I thought it was like more like 50,
No, actually,
50.
I'm wrong. It's not even 30%. It's much lower than that.
Really?
I'm wrong. Because if India and Pakistan hadn't split up, then it would have been quite close. But now it's like a lot less. I can't remember the figures on it. Yeah, someone will have to check that out. But
Okay.
I just know it's not. It's definitely not high because I know whenever I was thinking
The staggering majority is Hindu.
yeah.
Okay.
Because I know I'm against. I was against the kind of like. And I know it happened in the 40s, but when I read on it, I think the India and Pakistan splitting up wasn't a good thing, and it's because of like these type of things. But
Okay.
coming back to it, so he wants. So you got about 900,000 Indians who have come into the UK over the last 5 years,
Okay.
which is a lot. Remember, our adult population is only like 35, 40 million, right? In the last year, it's about 250,000,
Wow.
right? Chinese is the second.
What?
Yeah.
I didn't see that many Chinese when I was in London.
No, they're everywhere, bro.
God damn, I didn't see
You
that
no,
many.
no, there's a lot in London as well.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Shit. Okay.
I'm always looking like, oh, there's one, because
Maybe I didn't.
I've got this idea that actually, like, okay, this is gonna. I don't care if your audience gets cries now. So basically, like, I have this. My theory is this, and I know I'm right. Is that basically white women are basically either feminists disproportionately or LGBTQ. They're not having children. They're
in
not
the United Kingdom, you mean?
not throughout the world.
Okay.
They're not getting with white guys, and then white guys are basically going for minorities. And the first choice of minority they go for is Chinese or Asian, and then after that they'll go for black, and then after that they'll go for like a South Asian. Do you get? There's like a hierarchy.
I get what you
happens,
mean.
right? So this is happening
Because you guys
significant-
don't have as many Hispanics in the United Kingdom. I noticed that immediately.
So in the US the same thing, but it's just the categories are different.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
in the US, like
You're basically saying it's minorities, but different minorities
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
versus in the United. Yeah, because y'all don't got no Mexicans over there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or not like we got a lot of
yeah. So
Hispanics here.
even the white guys in your country are not getting with white women. Let's be clear on that. Like
Okay.
I know you're gonna cry and say like, oh, Sulaiman hates white people. I don't. I'm just telling the data. I'm just telling the facts. Like
Okay.
you can deal with it and cry about it, or you can say, look, we're gonna start being a bit more conservative. We're gonna start going against feminism.
Do you think a lot of this migration is from relationships, from couples bringing these Chinese people in?
No, they mainly come in on student visas and these type of things.
Okay.
I was just telling you generally because you said you never saw no Chinese people.
Yeah, I didn't see. Yeah.
So-
okay.
So the second is Chinese.
So India, Chinese.
Yeah,
Okay.
Chinese is in the last 5 years about 350,000,
God damn.
and in the last year it was like 150,000,
Okay.
something like that. And then the third is Nigeria.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Nigeria.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Nigeria is about 300,000, and in the last year is about 70,000.
Virtually all the blacks I saw in the United Kingdom and London they were from North Africa, Nigeria. Yeah.
Yeah. So all three of those countries, where most of the migration is happening, is not from Muslim countries, right?
What's the percentage of Nigerian Muslims? That's also, I think, a minority too, right?
Nigerians are minority, but I think it's like 30 or 40%. I can't remember
Okay.
the exact figure. Yeah.
Okay.
So understand this. So so if you're against migration in the UK, which is fine, I understand the logic behind that argument. Like you don't want migration, it doesn't make sense that you're attacking Muslims,
I see what you mean.
right? You should be attacking where there's migration coming from, and they aren't coming from Muslims. So why are you attacking Muslims?
That's
Is the-
interesting because popular media spins it as that it's
so why are you attacking Muslims is because Zionist controlled media and people like Tommy Robinson are manipulating you into thinking it. So all I see, and you know what I find it hilarious? Like these are the very same people who cry and cry and cry about I don't know if what we're allowed to say on YouTube, like Z Power.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Z Power. They cry about it, and yet they get manipulated by them themselves, right? So the Zionists have told you that's the case, and that's why they made you do it. But in reality, Muslims are only 6% of the population, and they're not the main migrants. So if you're against legal and illegal migration, that's fine. Then you're attacking the wrong community. Do that make sense?
Yeah, how many Indians you said came in? 250,000? 250K
In the last
year?
5 years, 900,000.
Okay, but 250 in the last year, right?
I believe it's 250. Yeah, I've done a
Okay.
tweet on it. I think I sent it. I might not have sent it actually.
Okay, and then Chinese, you said how many? 200? Like 200?
In the last year, or the last 5 years.
Last year.
I think the last year was
What's
like
easier for you to remember? 5 or the last?
Five's easier for
Okay.
me to remember. Yeah.
Okay, so 900K.
900k, 350,
Okay,
and 330.
okay, and then 330, and that's all within the last 5 years.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Okay.
And remember, our only population's only like 35 to 40 million.
Yeah.
Adults. The entire population is 70 million, but adults, yeah, it's
Okay.
about 40.
35 million adults. Okay.
Say 40.
Okay. All right. So go ahead. You can
Yeah.
keep
So you understand this whole perspective, right? So
Yeah.
I'm seeing this because I know all the like data.
The data.
And I'm like, you're all dumb, right?
Okay.
So
So now the riots.
now the riots happen. So what happens is they go to riot in Southport first, which was last Wednesday, I believe.
The first riot.
Yeah, the first riot.
And where did this happen?
Southport, the same place.
Southport. Southport. Okay. Yeah.
Southport. And so then what happened was they go for a mosque and
Okay.
they attack a mosque.
Okay.
So even though by then the real information's come out, they go and attack a mosque, right?
Okay. What they do? Light it on fire or something?
They tried to, yeah, but then they was like pleased with that, right? So they basically they do burn loads of things aside. They basically cause havoc in there.
And these are far right activists.
Yeah. They attack the police. They beat up the police. They, do all of that stuff. And then what happens is you basically
Under the premise that there's mass immigration of Muslims.
mass immigration, yeah.
That was the issue.
Yeah, I mean they make them convince them that that's the case,
Okay.
right?
Interesting. Okay.
And then what happens is you basically have and then somebody during the vigil, because there's a vigil as well, comes in with a machete or with a knife. I think it's with a
Damn,
knife.
man.
I could
you
be
guys
wrong.
are so bad with knife crime, bro.
Yeah, we are really bad with knife.
Holy
for sure.
shit, man.
Mainly in London as well.
I hate the United Kingdom, bro. No offense.
Yeah. There's a lot of knives there.
Yeah,
but
bro.
you guys have got gun crime, right?
Yeah, but dude, at least I could defend myself. Like, bro, when I'm in UK, I'm literally like, I'm always looking around when I'm in London, dude.
No, but listen.
I never felt
but
more
not ju-
unsafe than
no.
anywhere else.
I agree with you. Like, but you're like, you live in Miami. It's really safe here.
Yeah, well, in Brickell, once
Yeah.
you get out of this area, it could get pretty shitty. But at least you
Okay.
carry a gun, man. Like, you can't defend yourself in
No,
UK.
but like, someone could shoot you as well?
Yeah, but I'll shoot them first. I'm better. Like, at least I got a fighting chance. In the UK, it's like gonna be a bunch
No,
of
but
fucking North Africans coming after you. Come here, mate. And they're just gonna chef you.
No, but listen, if they're with a knife and you're there, like you're a big guy, you'll be able to take them out.
Nah, man. Fuck that shit, bro.
Okay.
I'm not trying to get chased with machetes by a bunch of dudes.
Because I would say, like, logically speaking, if,
Yeah, machetes.
No, because think about it. Like, when it comes to a gun, even a weak person can shoot a gun, right?
Yeah, of course,
But in a physical fight, even with his knife, then size and strength matters.
Of course. But
So,
dude,
like, for example, if it's
I'd rather get shot than stabbed, bro.
really.
Hell yeah. Stabbed? Nah, man. I'd rather get shot. But anyway,
Now, what would you prefer?
digress.
Someone coming at you with a gun or with a knife?
am I armed too?
I'll give both scenarios.
If I'm armed, I'd rather them come at me with a gun.
Okay.
But because most people that carry a gun aren't even trained, they're stupid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? But anyway,
So coming back to it, so you basically had the incident in Southport, and then so this guy comes again with a knife, and again on social media they say he's a Muslim,
oh,
and then they spread it everywhere. Like, or even during the vigil, there was a Muslim, and that's the reason we rioted. That's the reason we tried to destroy the mosque. Do you get what I'm trying to say? But then the next day again we find out it was actually a Caucasian guy. His name was Jordan Davis, I believe.
oh shit.
Right? He just
So he's a Muslim at first, huh?
Yeah. But I think he had a beard, so he's part of some crew called the Beard Bros or something.
Oh,
so 'cause he had
that's
a
why they
beard-
assume that.
Yeah, so they assumed that.
Okay.
Yeah. But I didn't assume it. It's just fake propaganda again, because
Yeah.
they want to create this thing of Muslim hatred, and they're getting annoyed that the UK and most people in the West are for Muslims and for Palestine at the moment. So it's a manipulation of their psychology to turn them against each other.
I see what you
Right.
mean.
So what they've done is that's why whenever I wrote a tweet, I always wrote far right Islamophobes to separate them from the far right who are not Islamophobes.
Okay.
Right? And if people are saying, "Oh, Islamophobe is not real," why are they going after a mosque? Like, how dumb are you? Of course, they don't like Islam. They've got an issue with that religion. They've got hatred towards it or fear towards it. Hence, why they've gone to the mosque. So you can call it Islamophobia, you can call it anti-Islam, but clearly it's there. They didn't. Once they found out Axel was a Christian choir boy, they didn't go to the church and try and burn it up, right? So it's clear that they went after a specific religion and a specific people. In addition to that, if it's really about illegal migration and legal, by the way, most illegal immigrants are also Indians. But anyway, if it's about illegal immigrant and legal immigration, why aren't you outside a Hindu temple then? Why aren't you outside where the most of the migration is coming from? Because none of this is about migration. It's actually basically attack on Muslims. That's
Okay.
all it is.
Okay.
And perpetuated by the guy who's all about that life. He's for immigration, even though he says against immigration, but he's for immigration, but he's against Islam. So you saw that in his recent video where he went on Israeli TV and he was literally like, you guys, like, look at all these guys, they're anti-Israel and you guys are the last line of defense and these type of things. So he full on does not hide the fact that he is a Zionist and that he's for immigration even from Indians on various other countries. He's just against Islam. He's not hidden that.
Okay.
So when you have him on your show, you should ask him and say, if you're for immigration, why do you keep on saying they're anti-immigration? Because he'll say, his argument is this, that these other immigrants assimilate, but Muslims don't assimilate, so that's why I'm against Muslims, but I'm for them, right?
Okay.
But the point is this, that means you're for immigration,
Okay.
you're just against Muslims immigrating, because you don't believe that they assimilate.
Okay.
So yeah, do ask him that question when he comes. Now, coming
Okay.
back to it, when so you've got this whole idea that's going on, and then what happens is Tommy Robinson. So after this happens, then the social media again perpetuates this to just such a significant manner again. And I just find all these people NPCs that they manipulated. Like you got psyoped. You got psyoped about a number of incidents before, either the sea issue or the previous wars, Russia-Ukraine war, or the L's, or the you got psyoped about all those things, right? And then now you just got psyoped again. Because in reality, an incident that occurred, you made it all about Islam. And so you did the Southpark. Then what Tommy did was, with all of his far-right Islamophobes, he basically organized riots throughout the weekend. And you know these riots? They like the BLM riots. That's the greatest irony, that you all cried about the BLM riots. Oh, BLM, why are they destroying property?
Oh, even in the UK they were talking about it.
Yeah, we had it as well.
Okay.
Yeah, we had the
Wait, you
BLM
guys had BLM riots in the UK?
Yeah, we did. But it wasn't at the same level as yours, guys.
After George Floyd?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
But it
didn't know
wasn't
that.
at, it wasn't at your guys' level.
Okay. So shit got destroyed, but not to the same degree.
Yeah. So anyway, but this one I'm talking about the UK and the US. So if you're all crying about the BLM and their riots, and you're crying that they're destroying property, and you're crying that they're destroying
So the far-right activists were complaining about the BLM riots.
Yeah,
Is what you're saying in 2020.
Yeah,
Okay.
and in the US it was the conservatives, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now you're all, the conservatives in the US and these guys are all supporting these riots and being like, yeah, we got to destroy property. We got to show them in it. So in reality, that's what it shows you. Like, you only are against it because you're not doing it. Because now when you're doing it, you're literally doing the exact same thing.
I see what you mean.
Now, in the weekend, he basically organized, again, a lot of these riots. And again, a lot of the UK was attacked. Muslims were attacked. Muslim women were attacked. The acid was thrown at them. And the police, we all believe...
Acid was thrown?
Yeah.
What's up with you guys and you can't throw an acid at each other, bro?
Off the rock as
That's
well.
like a British thing, man.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Very low
they're like,
behavior.
fuck it. Y'all hear about, like, yo, bro, this is like a thing. They throw acid in the streets.
What?
Yeah, United Kingdom, bro. Yeah, it's like a way they, bro, because they don't got guns, man. Yo, look, man.
What?
Sully, I like you, but I hate the United Kingdom, bro.
Yeah,
Like,
no
no offense to all my British people out there, but anytime I'm in London, bro, I get in and get the fuck out, man.
Yo, you pulling up on the ops with
Bro,
hold on,
why
you got
fuck that,
acid
man?
on you,
Why
though,
do you think
bro?
I'm in the US all the time?
Bro, holy
right.
man.
I see why, bro.
God damn, the United Kingdom sucks. All right.
So-
it's always no sun. It's cold.
True.
No hot girls. It's like, man, this place sucks. But continue on. Sorry.
So then what happened was you basically got all these riots, and the police intentionally were letting them riot. Police were intentionally letting them.
Oh yeah, this is fuck this. I don't get
Yeah.
paid enough.
Yeah.
I don't got no guns.
And so then you add basically people from the Muslim community
Yeah.
who also start basically defending themselves.
Yeah.
Obviously, people are in disagreement and say, I'm back a Muslim.
Oh yeah, I saw like videos of people fighting each other with hammers and knives and shit. Like,
Yeah, people started. So there's certain areas where they also came out. Because you have to remember, like a lot of these young Muslims, they're not like our fathers, our grandfathers who came to this country. When our grandfathers came to the country, they kind of kept their culture. They kind of kept to the side.
Of course.
Right. What a lot of these kids, they've assimilated.
Yeah.
They've become like the populace.
Yeah.
So they become like the working class.
Yeah.
So if you look at I know that people are not going to like this, but like, I don't care. If you look at the actions of the working class white and you look at the actions of the working class minorities, it's literally the same.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
Because
course.
they basically act like each other. They act
Yeah.
like rude boys. They'll go around. Like, I don't do
Yeah.
none of this behavior, right?
Yeah.
So like when growing up, I was like a bit smarter than everybody else. So I did my own thing,
Yeah.
right? But like they'll go in their cars.
They
and
use
they'll
the slang, all that
use
crap.
slang. They'll do these little.
Man them. Oh, they use all that shit. Yeah.
They'll do their wheelies and these type of things. And it's like Everyone's doing it. Like this is like assimilation into like British culture, working class culture, not posh. Because you have to understand like there's a very big difference between like these posh Londoners in posh areas compared to like the north, where people are a lot more different. I'm from the north, so I'm very much from the I'm like from a very poor background, like from that working class background. So this is literally what it is. So like they were literally, so you saw certain areas where these guys were fighting back. Some of them were like, oh, we're gonna protect the mosque. Some of them were actually physically assaulting back. So this is what's happening. So that's why it's perpetuating. Now my thing is this, and then today what you had in Birmingham, they had news that, and Birmingham has got a decent amount of Muslim population. I don't know what it is. It'll be, if I had to guess, it'll be between the 6 and 15. So if I had to guess, it'll probably be like 9-10%, right? So they heard that there's going to be them coming out, so they went out in their numbers today. Now I'm vehemently against this because first of all, like I want like peace. We don't want any kind of riots. We don't want any type of fighting. But this game was played before. So in 2001, we had the Bradford riots. And what actually these Pakistani Muslims heard was that, oh, these far right are going to be in Bradford. So they went there and they weren't there. And then these guys start rioting, which is unacceptable. But they start rioting, they start burning things. And many of them got extreme sentences. Like they were like drink, like I know like some people had stolen a bottle of water, they got like 5 years.
Oh,
Some people got 25 years. It was crazy. That's why
I want to send a message.
Yeah. So that's why my advice to the Muslim community is like, this is a trap as well. So just be smart and don't fall into the trap as well. Like I understand like it becomes a difficult decision. Like for me, I'm not someone who is aggressive, but I guess for most people ask this question, and maybe, I don't know if you're allowed to answer this question or not, but like if you think somebody's coming to your community and they're literally beating up the women, like your women, they're physically assaulting them, they're beating up people in the community, they're coming to like burn a mosque. Do you just leave it or do you defend yourself? Like this is
you have to defend yourself.
So some of these guys have gone out to defend themselves. I don't know if it's, but then them videos are coming out and them demonizing them as well. So this is what's happening in reality.
Okay. So what happened in Birmingham then?
So
something similar to that?
So there hasn't at the moment. So that was my concern. I'm just telling you, like today, that's what happened. That was my concern.
Okay.
But yeah, just don't fall into this trap. Like this, for me, it's quite simple. Tommy Robinson and the Zionists are behind it because what the real thing is going to happen they keep attacking and saying this is the far right. This is the far right doing it. And what's going to happen is they're going to put draconian laws in place. Because if they did it against the Palestine protests, a lot of the people would have stood up because a lot of the Labour supporters are from the left, right? So the people would have stood up against it. And they would have said, look, you can't ban Palestinian protests. You can't ban us speaking against Zionists. But now they'll be like, we're doing it because of the far right. We're going to stop protests and we're going to stop any kind of hate speech. Because this is what hate speech causes. Online hate speech, even Keir Starmer said it was on. All of this was caused by online. So we'll get even more censorship. We'll get even more police state.
Which in the UK, that's a crime, by the way, guys. Hate speech is a legitimate crime over there.
Yeah, but it'll become
it's not
much
like
worse.
in America.
But still, right now you can get away with saying the same thing. Like, look at me, I say certain things which are legal, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then maybe some of the things I'm saying are going to start becoming illegal. So what they're doing is they're going to use this to make laws, in my view, to help the Zionists out, to stop Palestinian protests.
Oh, I see what you mean.
And to stop speaking
It's going to hurt
Zionists.
both parties.
Yeah, that's the reason. Because really, the far right is very. I know people don't like to hear it, but it's true. They're very minority. Like if you look at the counter protests, they were white people. So if you look at many of the counter protests in some of these areas, a lot of them were white people. So, like, that's the overview of what's happening. So this entire UK thing is just like manipulation, and those people who fell for it are just NPCs.
Wow. Okay. Shit. Chats? Then we're going to close out here. Let's see what we got. Women voted for this crap. Let them D on this hill at this point, although it is the only reason people are even paying attention to women's sports nowadays. That's from With Ghost, okay? Alex Jones as well. He stood by Elon shitting on Maduro while sucking up to Elon. Got to be careful who you trust, no matter how much they say they're battling the deep state. Personally, I believe Elon Musk and Alex Jones are controlled. Okay?
Yeah, I agree. Because look, I believe Alex Jones is controlled because look, like Alex Jones wanted the coup in Venezuela as an example. Also,
he went there?
No, he was against Maduro, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then on top of that as well, if you look at these riots, at least with you've had me on, and I've talked about it. Now you're going to have Tommy Robinson. So you got balance there, right?
Yeah, I'll take both sides,
okay.
yeah, for sure.
Whereas he is just putting on people who are basically wanting to propel the riots even more.
Gotcha.
And remember, I know his team. So like they could easily have me on, but they're not. So Alex Jones is doing it on purpose because he wants to perpetuate this for the Zionists.
All right. I have a question for the guests. Do you have a prediction as to when the United States will be destroyed by Russia, China, and or Iran? From what you are saying, we're destroying our allies and ourselves.
So I don't think US will physically be destroyed by those countries. US is like very much dominant both in a military perspective and also in terms of the dollar is strong. Like I don't believe in this whole idea that the dollar is collapsing. Like I still think dollar is like the main thing, right? But they're going to be severely weakened where they don't have total control. So as an example, when all of these countries start going to alternative countries such as Russia and China, it extremely weakens it. And you're going to see it in, which matters more to you, in US society where you guys are going to start struggling even more than what you are already.
Okay.
I'll go to shops now. The next time I'm here, there'll be nobody serving.
Dumping coins test 3. Okay, that's told him. This is making fun of Mo. Don't ever doubt Mo. He has crazy game. Okay.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, bro, what are you doing? That's white genocide. Why are you the white chick?
What? I mean, I like
I
snow.
disavow Mo's white genocide.
I mean, hey, bro, I like snow in my backyard too. You know what I'm saying?
That's white genocide.
I like blonde hair, blue eye. Oh my God.
All right, next chat. For all the haters who said Fresh couldn't host a podcast by himself, he just proved y'all wrong with this masterpiece of a podcast earlier today.
Nice.
Wait, what? I'm confused.
You went live on Castle Club.
You went live on Castle Club?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Oh, I don't know. Okay.
Okay.
Myron, top 5 stocks you just suggest to invest in. I'm not really a stock investor, guys. I mostly have index funds that follow the S&P 500 and the total market. So, you can go on Vanguard, you can go on any of these platforms. I have a whole episode on index funds, actually. Matter of fact, can we drop it in the chat for them? It's on Money Monday. So you guys, and I go in there to like which ones I have. But yeah, as far as stocks go, I don't really invest in stocks, guys. I have some index funds. The stock I do have is Chewy and Rumble. Rumble for obvious reasons, and then Chewy because it's hilarious. But yeah. Bangladesh government got overthrown, and it's funny. A woman was in charge. Oh,
Was it Lambo?
fair enough. What was that?
Was it Lambo Raul?
No. It was a while ago. I did it
Q-Banks?
like last year and a half ago. Index funds. Type in index funds 101, something like that. Fresh and Fit. It's going to be in there. The Dark King 77. Sup FNF. I hope you guys are doing well. I wanted to ask if you guys had any documentaries, books, recommendations on the true history of World War II, the Rothschild family, etc. Don't worry. On Castle Club, I'm probably going to do a watching of a certain movie, if you guys know what I'm saying. And we will go ahead and talk about that in more detail, where it covers World War II in detail, but I'm going to have to do it on Castle Club.
I'd recommend, I know it's not on World War II, but I'd recommend The Fall of an Empire by Gibbons. I think he gives a really good perspective on like how empires rise, how empires fall, and how like certain liberalist ideas and where they came from.
Which, by the way, real quick announcement that I want to make here, guys, by the way. Yacht party, Saturday, August 10th, 9 p.m. to 1 a.m. Open bar, 200 girls. Going to be lit. 130-foot plus yacht. Huge. Able to host 350 plus people. It's going to be a great time. We're going to be IRL streaming. We're going to be there. Girls are going to be there. It's going to be awesome. Make sure you guys come in. Tickets are on sale right now. Only $998. $1,000 to get on a yacht and hang out with us, bro. In Miami, Florida, you'll never get that price point ever. Okay, here's some pictures of the yacht. It's huge, as y'all can see. It's gonna be a great time. This yacht is brand new, by the way. It just got done being made in on July 28th or 29th or so. So we're gonna be one of the first ones to use it. It's gonna be a great fucking time, man. So make sure to jump in and join us in the party, man. This Saturday, man, it's gonna be lit. So anyway,
And giveaway.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be doing a giveaway on the Rolex, but that's for the VIPs.
Castle Club only.
Castle Club, yep. So yeah, guys, make sure. And we're giving away a few tickets, right?
Yes.
No,
3.
but you want to tell the people? Tell them about that. I got to piss anyway.
Oh yeah, we're giving away 3 tickets on Castle Club. It's in the description. Just fill out the form and only fill it out if you can come because it is on Saturday. So make sure that you can show up.
Yeah, don't be taking free tickets. Like people, so give the people a chance, isn't it?
Exactly. So if you're in Castle Club right now, I had just put it in the live chat. So make sure you click that. If you're coming. If you're not coming, don't click that link. Don't sign nothing.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly. What's this? Okay, let me just make another point while Myron's gone. So look, I'm seeing like a lot of these comments, and actually maybe I did want Myron here for this, but look, like one of the things like Myron says on his show is, look, like black people, they're so sensitive. You can't say, you can say the N-word and they get. But look, this chat is proof. This chat is proof that everyone be sensitive, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen how many people are like, oh, he's anti-white, anti-European, anti-this, anti-that? Isn't that the same thing as saying Islamophobia? Isn't that the same thing as saying, oh, racism? It's literally the exact same thing. That's why I was explaining that, look, when you look at this chart and how many people are saying anti-white, anti-white, it's exactly the same as saying racism. So when black people say racism, you're now seeing the other side of it. And yet, what have I said, which is anti-white? But, like, you'd be dumbness. Like, if I... What? The only thing that you could probably say that I said is anti-white is this. That, let's be clear on this, that white women are not getting with white men. And so for that reason, a lot of them have become LGBTQ, a lot of them have become feminists. And for that reason, you're not producing your own race. And when you're not producing your own race, like, you could blame other people, or you could be man up and say, look, we're going to get our society under control. We're going to get our women under control, and we're going to make them have kids. But you ain't got the ability to do that because you're feminists, right? So you're partaking in not white genocide, but white suicide.
All right. Let's see here. What do we got here? And for all you guys that are saying, yo, Sulaiman, blah, 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 talking crap, don't worry, guys. I'm going to bring Tommy Robinson on too, man. We're going to get both sides of the spectrum. So, you know me, you guys, I have friends that are pro-Zionist and not pro-Zionist. So I like to have people from different spectrums and talk. And we'll see if we can set up a debate with them in the future. But I'm definitely going to bring Tommy in to tell his side as well. So don't worry, guys. All right, next Money Monday, can you go over what states/cities are the best to start investing real estate in? You tune in. You need to join Council Club right now, because we're going to be having a real estate call with Chris Crone tomorrow, okay? He could, a billionaire in real estate. We're going to have that conversation at 3 p.m. tomorrow, so you need to get in Council Club right now and ask that question to someone who's very good at that stuff. So we're going to talk about that extensively. Don't worry. If you're not in Council Club already. Anybody else?
Yep, right here, J2.
WFNF, Myron, are you in the merchant automation business? I'm thinking about trying it, but I don't have the capital, but I was going to try to get a loan or a 0% interest credit card if I qualified. 11K to start, or should I wait until I have the money? I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. I don't know anything about merchant automation business. So we could bring somebody in the future to talk about it, but that is not my expertise. So I don't want to speak about something I don't know. What else do we got? Oh, MM100M. Myron, did you see the stock market went $1.5 trillion today? Yeah, dude, it's down. I mean, crypto went down too. It's slowly coming back up, as you guys can see here. From the, we have our little charts here for you guys with the cryptocurrency, XRP, USDC, Bitcoin, Ethereum, etc., Doge. And then we also showed some of the stocks that had plummeted. But yeah, I mean, it happens, man. It's a correction in the market. And then obviously keep in mind, guys, that, we're anticipating a real conflict in the Middle East here, which we talked about in detail at the beginning of the podcast with Scott Ritter. So please make sure to check that out on Rumble. Obviously on YouTube, we couldn't talk about it for certain reasons. What else? Anything else?
Nope, that is all.
We covered those stories, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Guys, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show, man. Sulaiman, what do you got? Any last words for the people?
No, that's it. I think we covered quite a bit.
Cool. Yeah, this week is going to be crazy, guys. So tomorrow, Zoom call, 3 p.m. with Chris Crone, guys. We're going to be talking about real estate. Then 5 p.m. I'm going to be on InfoWars with Owen Schroyer. We're going to talk about the Trump assassination, other geopolitical stuff more than likely. And then Wednesday, we're obviously going to have our either pop the balloon or reaction to something. And then obviously after hours. And then Friday, we're going to have Fresh and Fit. I'm gonna probably bring on a guest. I'm trying to think this Friday who I'm gonna bring on for you guys. I still gotta coordinate because we had a couple people that we might have to talk to. The party's on Saturday. Yeah, so we're gonna. Oh, and then I think Vitaly's gonna be in Miami as well. So I'm gonna probably be running out catching some predators with him as well. So Friday is gonna be a busy day. We're gonna have some streams for you guys and everything else like that. So it's gonna be a good time. And then other than that, guys, go check out Sulaiman. Sulaiman, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, and I'll be starting my show on Rumble back again when I go back to the UK, so in about a week, so check that out. Nice.
Yeah, go check him out on Twitter. Very active, huge audience on Twitter. So anyway, guys, love you guys. We'll be back on tomorrow. I'll be live on InfoWars, and then we're going to have our call with Chris Crone. Make sure to tune into that. Get your Yacht Party tickets while you guys can. And Wednesday, we are going to be doing something for y'all, probably Red Pill associated with dating or whatever it may be. And then Friday, I'll keep you guys posted with guests because I'm talking to a few people right now that will probably get you on for Friday. Love you guys. Peace.